up, guys? My name's Casey as well. I got my friend over here, is the Filthy Mouth Gamer. We
Yeah,
will be
what's going on?
we will be talking about the Atari 2600. We were talking off air as just reminiscing. Like I had to literally stop us because we could talk about video games for hours and
Yeah, I would
be
I
like,
aggravate my wife, and every time I'd walk into a video game store, I'd be there for an hour and a half just talking with another geek about games. It should be like,
oh.
"Can we just go? Like, can we go already?" It's like, well, that's just like this is what I'm into.
I'm, I'm like I like chatting with like one on one like you. But
Yeah,
like if I'm in the store, I'm kind of like if a dude came up to me, I'm just looking around. I'm like let me look.
right,
I'm in the moment trying to find the next retro game I want
right,
to
right.
collection. So, but like we were having a fun time. I was like, dude, I would quit. Wish I hit record when we were
Well,
talking because
Casey was about to talk shit about Super Mario 64. That's what he was about to do. He was about to talk shit about it. Um,
he wasn't lying. I did.
you want me to give you a blast from the past? The first time I saw Super Mario 64 on an
Mhm.
Ultra 64 was in a store. You'll probably remember it, called Babbage's. Do you remember Babbage's?
I heard that, but
Babbage's, I believe they bought Electronics Boutique.
mm, we never had. I'm not sure. We're going back old school.
I mean
Uh,
96, 95, 96 area.
yeah. Even during that time, like there's a chain that's here. Even during that time frame, it's
Mm.
called Game Exchange.
Yes,
So
there's some over here.
yeah, I would go there, and and I don't maybe was GameStop even a thing then?
No, I don't believe yet. I mean, the original chain by me was Electronics Boutique,
Mm.
which became just EB, right? That
Yeah.
was um and then
Okay.
you had Funko Land. I don't know if you had any Funko Lands near you.
No, I mean, I think a lot of the video games we had around here, probably came honestly from the big chains like Walmart, Kmart, and Target, and then maybe.
Wait a minute, you've missed a big one. Toys R Us.
Oh, I was gonna say Toys
Toys
R
R
Us.
Us was
Uh,
like the
oh yeah, I had a guilty pleasure going to Toys R Us for well, not only I'm not gonna lie, I go in there for video games, but like the wrestling stuff
Right, right.
and I like checking out what's the new toys that I miss as you know my time outgrew those toys. You know what I mean? I came
Right.
in and then we grew up when the toys don't even look nowhere near the characters. And
No, right,
nowadays
exactly. Exactly.
and nowadays they're like a scan and they'll come up with like different sets of hands, different
Yeah.
sets of heads.
Right. But do kids even play with action figures anymore? I don't
That's a
even
good
know.
that's a good point. I mean, I have a couple nephews from my sister, but I don't get to see them often. They play with toys, but as action figures, I don't. I if they're not playing with like old school toys, like little train thing, they're on their iPad.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
kinda ruined everything to me, in my opinion.
yeah.
Listen, when you play with your action figures, right, you
Mm,
kinda exercise your what's the term?
creativity.
Creativity, but there's also oh, imagination.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And
yeah.
that's big for a kid, right? Oh, I'm
Mm,
doing fucking He-Man versus G.I. Joe today. I'm doing Thundercats, because there wasn't gonna be that on TV, right? So
yeah.
you did a Thundercats He-Man crossover, and then you'd argue
Mm,
with your friends if Lion-O would kick He-Man's ass, or if Skeletor would take on
yeah.
Mumra. That was a thing, like, as a kid. I mean, video games existed, but it
Mm,
wasn't everything, right?
Oh no, definitely
It was
not.
fun to just, imagine things and even if you're just by yourself, you don't have to be with your friends, just doing shit um and then I didn't have a sister. My sister's 16 years younger than me, so
Yeah.
I didn't even have that element of it, but I saw other
Mhm.
friends have sisters and, they would come in and they'd wanna play and they'd involve their Barbies, and then they would talk shit that Barbie is better than this and that, and I kinda think that's what's happening with movies now. Too many
Yeah.
females have gotten control of shit, and they don't know how to handle this shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, "No, no, no, your characters are not stop it. You don't even know what you're
Yeah.
talking about." You know what
I
I mean?
think
And yeah.
I think one of the things my parents actually had a thing when I was a kid.
Mhm.
Uh, like I would take dolls that like my sister's dolls, and I would tie them up to like a
Right.
chair. And I'm thinking my parents maybe thought I was like demented or something. They took me to a therapist. So I'll be like in the playroom with the one way glass,
Right.
and she'll be talking to the therapist. I'll be right there in front of the window, and I'll be tying up a doll to a chair. It was like I'm sure they're like, "Is this normal?"
No, now whether you doing that because you were making like that was a damsel in distress
I'm
and
assuming so.
you
It's
know what I
not.
mean? Like, because that was what you grew up with, right?
Yeah,
Mario's gotta rescue Princess Peach. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
as a matter of fact, in Double Dragon, in the last stage, in the last screen, you got that
Yeah,
chick that's tied up on the hanging from the ceiling. You know what I mean? That's a thing. That was the thing. Most games were based around that. You're a guy,
yeah.
you have to beat these guys, and then you save the
Mm,
girl. I mean, that was almost
exactly,
every game. Like, so
exactly.
that's probably I would assume that's what you were doing.
Yeah, that's. I was a child.
Mm,
I'm assuming that's what it was.
mm,
It's not like. Even if I was a child doing like prodding it or something, I'm
right.
like, I'm a kid. I'm a kid. Like, let me have fun. But
Well,
I
yeah,
think
as long as you're not torturing little animals and fucking coming home with
exactly.
dead chipmunks and shit, you know what I mean? Like, that's a whole different level.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I think like I got most of my humor from my mom because my dad, oh, he'll have some humor, but there'll be some stuff like I know this is sidetracked,
Yeah, but that's fine.
but there was one time there was before we go into the Atari
Mhm,
2600, uh, this is how kind of demented my humor could be. Like we're coming from me and my dad. I guess I was still playing baseball at the time,
mhm,
and there's an academy, and right in the parking lot was a bank. So I said to him, "It's like, well, think about this. They sell guns at academy, so you can go from the academy with the gun and
right.
go rob the bank with the gun." And my dad's like acting like I was a psycho. I was like, "I'm kidding." I'm
Well,
like,
how old were you at the time?
I don't know, maybe a teenager, give or take. But it was a joke. I'm not like
Yeah,
I
right,
was
you're not
like
talking about robbing a bank.
that was the
You
joke back
found it
then.
interesting that there was guns
Yeah.
near
And
a bank,
yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
meanwhile, banks don't even I'm sure they don't even hold a lot of cash on hand anymore. That's not even a thing anymore.
Oh
Robbing
no.
a
Oh,
bank, I think is over. That's gone.
exactly. Oh, exactly. And if it does, I'm sure they have armored cars to take it away.
Right. Oh,
But
yeah, they have that shit, but they don't even hold I don't even think dude, most of the money is doesn't even exist physically. You know what I
I
mean? It's really
I,
bizarre.
I bet I'll bet they don't probably don't have even like a maybe $100,000 in there no more.
I, I read something or heard something that all the gold that exists, you can
Yeah.
fit in, like, an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
In America or the
No,
world?
in the world, ever.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, "How
Yeah.
can that be?" I'm like, "How can that be, though?"
Well,
Like an Olympic-sized swimming pool that's about the size of, like, a football field, let's say, like 100
uh,
like a long, big ass
yeah. and you gotta remember how deep it is too. It's not like
Right.
just the length, so
But
it's
it still
deep.
sounds like a not a lot. You know what I mean?
That's
For it to
true.
be in the planet.
Yeah, that's a
So,
good. I think
yeah.
that's kind of interesting, but
It isn't. It's crazy.
but I do want to get your opinion on something
Yeah,
later
go ahead.
on.
Don't worry about
Later
what
on.
these people think, Casey. Don't even listen to them. This is how conversations work in real life. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no. Well, maybe what I'll do is I'll edit or something because I love just chatting with you. You know,
Yeah.
and
Dude,
you
unedited.
can.
Screw
Yeah, there
editing.
you go.
Fuck it. Put it right out there. Raw. You want to be raw? Put out raw fuck footage. That's how you
There you
do
go.
it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I was I was gonna type to you when you're streaming. It was like, dude, I need you to teach me your New York ways, like you and Ken. Like I had the little taste living in Pennsylvania
Mm.
when my late wife, she was from Brooklyn, New York. So
Oh,
she,
okay.
yeah, so like she's part Italian,
So
part
she knew about that shit.
yeah, oh, yeah, and not only that, she was part Jewish and everything.
Okay.
So she, you don't mess with this woman.
Right.
But
Well, that was a rough area.
yeah, but oh gosh, uh, I was doing Saturday's Raw last night,
Mhm.
and we were talking about the whole situation about that CEO getting murdered in Manhattan,
Right.
and it was a quite interesting topic. I had Tex and I had Devious Dave Rose talking about it, and they're both were like the bigger conspiracy theorists people.
Mhm.
I I kind of kayfabe do it.
Right.
Like I do agree with them. You don't uh believe everything in the news, but there was way too much evidence. Like I when going back, like at first I looked like the footage almost like the guy was wearing a black hoodie, but then when he's at that hostel,
Right.
uh, it was like more of a green
No,
jacket.
there's those are two different people.
Uh,
100%. 100%.
oh
Because if you first of all, the first jacket, it's
yeah.
got pockets on the front. The black jacket.
Did
The
you?
other one doesn't.
I could never see the front of the other one. I only could see where he walks up and shoots the guy and then takes off.
Well, there's the first picture they have where he's got a mask on, right?
Yeah,
And that's where he's in the black jacket, and the jacket has 2 breast pockets,
yeah,
right? Then there's the other picture where the mask is off, and you kinda
mm,
see him looking towards you.
yeah,
It's kinda not right straight on, you're kinda like it's like side view, but the jacket he's wearing, because it's like it is a different color looking, but that could
yeah.
be lighting and shit, but
Mm.
the front of his jacket doesn't have 2 breast pockets in that picture.
Well, here's one thing I like to throw is like maybe he had a different jacket.
No, I mean, but here's the thing, this is what I will say. You don't see somebody have a silencer on a gun. Like, I'm not saying it's hard to get. You can get silencers, right?
Yeah,
But you don't see that often at all,
no,
right? And the way he handled the gun, right? So you
yeah,
had 3 shell casings. Those are all 3 of the bullets that he put into this guy. And then you
mhm,
had 3 full bullets because he shot the gun, it
yeah,
jammed, and then you see him eject the bullet that jammed. Then he
yeah.
shoots again, it jams again. But at the speed at which he was unjamming the bullet, I'm going to tell you right now,
He was a
that's a
professional.
guy that knows how to handle a gun.
Yeah, it was like the way how fast that footage is. Like he
Right.
comes out of nowhere, and it's almost like people brings a good point. It's like it's almost a scene in a movie or a
Right.
TV show. But I'm like I don't know what type of camera is it. Like I mean, nowadays we have 360 cameras. It could be one of those
Well,
bubble cam.
that's why when they put that out and they said, "Oh, this is the," like they act like this is the only angle they have. It's like, listen, this is Manhattan. There's
Yeah,
cameras everywhere, and not just cameras from storefronts and shit like that.
yeah,
Is if you're in Manhattan, and the NYPD on every corner
Yeah.
almost has like that dome camera. Like there's
Yeah.
cameras everywhere. And if you know where the guy was and what time it was and all that shit, you can take every camera in that area and follow him wherever you want to go. So to pretend as if they all of a sudden now, oh,
You
we
only
only
got
have
that
this
one.
footage. It's like, listen, this isn't 1984. I'm not a fucking idiot. But the other thing that not many people are talking about, they all seem to say this guy, they fucked him over in some sort of
Mm,
healthcare situation where they denied somebody coverage in his family and he was mad
yeah.
and he killed this guy. Now, United Healthcare is terrible with that. I think they deny one out of every three claims.
Oh,
It's like
dang.
brutal. But what they don't talk about is also this CEO recently, I don't remember how recently, there was bad news coming up for the stock. He
Mm,
sold a shitload of his stock. I think it was like $30 million worth before this news came out. So that's insider trading,
yeah.
right?
It,
So, but by him selling all this stock, it jacked the price down. And then when the bad news comes out, it goes down again. So there was a ton of investors that were upset too. So there's that element too.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't just have to be um
That.
the denying medical care, right? That is the
Uh,
thing, 100%. Anybody that has fucking insurance and medical insurance knows that they are pieces of shit.
oh
That
yeah.
they will deny you over nonsense. It's a business. I feel like I don't know how you would implement this shit, but I don't think health insurance companies or anybody in healthcare should be allowed to trade publicly on the stock exchange.
Oh, definitely not.
Because they use that excuse because, oh, I got to make money for the shareholders. Yeah, but we're talking about people's lives.
Hmm.
That shouldn't come into fucking play.
Oh no. It's like I told you while the stream, like I saw this. It, it hit me a different way because I'd said this last night though too. It was like talking about when I went. My wife was dealing with short term disability and then
Mm,
eventually long term disability.
mm,
They would pay her and then they would stop, and then once they. Like, my wife was on top of her, what she needs to do to keep her long term or short term disability pay going.
right,
So, and I was getting sick of it because not only it was screwing with her money, it was screwing with our livelihood because, like, at that time we had to kind of downgrade a little bit
right.
because, I mean, during '08, '09, 10 time frame, like, the economy wasn't doing great. And
No, oh yeah, it was destroyed.
yeah, so we had to find a way to survive. And
Mm,
with them fucking with her money, I got upset one day that I went to the healthcare building, uh, and I went up to
and you
level.
tied somebody to the fucking you tied
Hey,
one of these broads to the fucking wall.
exactly, exactly. I went old school. I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this, ma'am. It's just
Ah,
something I grew up
yeah.
with. But let me tie you up to this chair, and then. But no, I came up to the office. I sat in the waiting room. I'm sure they were looking at me like, "What the hell you doing here? Like, if you're not here dropping something off." I'm like, I'm wanting to show that I wasn't being violent.
Right,
Like, I just want to go up there and just air my grievance. Like, I just told them I just want to talk to the manager because I am upset what's going on with the situation.
right.
And they pulled me into a boardroom, and
Oh
there's
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, dude, this is not good."
That's like the
But
beginning of a porn video where they're
well,
just gonna
no,
gang fuck you on a desk.
no, it almost felt like almost interrogation. Almost, it
Right,
was like,
right,
but it was like because the manager was writing down the information. It was like maybe this is not a good idea, but I was emotional, and I told him what was up, and I I was shocked that I didn't get arrested for trespassing, but I guess because I wasn't being violent, I was probably not doing anything showing evidence I was going to
Well,
do.
but
Be
why
what?
would you be? What do you got trespassing, right? So they had a reception area, right?
Yeah, but I'm sure if you just randomly show up and
Yeah, but that's. I mean, they just if you as long as you don't just walk past the receptionist,
yeah,
they can't do shit.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, probably, but after I went up there, I mean, strangely enough, we never had a problem again. It's
Oh,
not like,
interesting.
yeah, it's not like I went up there and did what this dude did, where he went and shot up a person. No, I just went up and there my grievance.
Right.
And yeah, luckily we didn't have problems. She was cleared for long-term disability all the way up to the age of when she retirement age, like 65 or
Mm,
68.
mm.
So we never had a problem since, and even payment all the way to the month she passed.
Wow.
So
Okay. Well, then you did the right thing then.
yeah. So, but I think when I saw that story and the healthcare, and it's like then I heard seeing where they talk about the three engraved bullets, talking about deny, delay, or and depose or something like that. I
Right.
think that's why people are more leaning to it's a customer, but
Right.
this but there's way too much evidence showing this dude is more of a professional
Yeah.
hitman.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, the way he handled that gun,
Mhm.
right? He has a lot of experience with guns.
Oh yeah,
Because with a gun jams, if you're not using guns a lot, it's not really even like so I have a Glock 19, right?
yeah.
It's pretty much I would probably say the most common handgun there is. Um, the slide on it, if you don't use it a lot, it's kinda difficult to pull it back, and
Oh
it has
really?
nothing. Well, it's not even a strength thing, right? So it's more of a getting used to the
Mm,
motion of pulling the slide back. You know what I mean? Like it's not anybody can do it.
yeah.
It's just that to do it, hey, listen, the guy's on the street, he's shooting somebody, right? There's a lot of anxiety involved,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So even doing that shit, you're gonna make mistakes. That guy did not make a fuck mistake. He was he very calmly walked up, put
Yeah.
3 bullets in this dude, and unjammed 3 bullets, and just walked off, got on a bike, and was out. That's
And
that's either
he's
one of two
gone.
things. That's a professional, or it's a stone cold fucking sociopath. You know what I
I
mean? Like,
I
so
agree.
yeah. But
Me?
it's I to feel bad for this.
Oh
To
no.
I mean, it is a human life, but
Yeah.
I'm sure this guy, listen, the CEO of United Healthcare is not getting involved with singular insurance claims, right? He's dealing
Mm,
with he's dealing with macro shit. He's not dealing with micro shit like that. But,
yeah.
these guys, they tend to be slimy motherfuckers. You know what I mean? As I said
Mm,
with the stock situation,
yeah.
they kind of are. So, but I'm surprised. Let's say it's definitively because
Hmm.
somebody got screwed over. How does that not happen more?
That's
Like
a
I was
good
just
point.
talking to Ken yesterday. We were together, and we were
Yeah.
talking about like how it costs like $700 if you needed like 4 tires on your car, right? $700, $800.
Or
I'm
more.
like, I'm like half this country, so over 100 million people. If they needed 4 tires on their car, they don't have the money.
No.
This is a fucking ticking time bomb, right? And that's not just this country, right?
Oh
That's
yeah.
the world.
Well,
So if you
the
get hit with a
problem.
medical bill, you're fucked.
Oh yeah, like dude. I mean, I just recently this past year got with the inheritance when my mom passed. But guess what? That money doesn't last long.
No.
Well,
Nope.
I mean, we sold the house, but it was not just all the money went to me. It would split up with my other siblings. Like with the money, I thought, oh, I did coast for a while, and not gonna lie, I splurged. It's kind of
Mhm.
obvious I splurged,
Right.
but like,
It goes away fast.
yeah,
Well,
but like,
because you're not factoring in the unexpected shit that you're gonna get hit with, right?
exactly.
That's what you're not factoring in. You're like, ah, everything's fine. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, that's 100%. Like I did like pay off some bills, got out of debt. Now I'm
Right.
getting back into debt again. But um, I like got some stuff I needed to be done. Like I got new tires. Like when I had blowout tires, I was like, you know what? These are all old tires. Get me all brand new tires
Right.
and brand new brakes and everything. Like I just wanted to be set up for a while.
What year is your car?
2014.
All right, so can I tell you something?
Yeah.
And listen, I am not anywhere, shape, or form an auto mechanic whatsoever. I know very little shit, right? I
Yeah.
know how to take a tire off, put a tire on, right? I know that shit.
Yeah.
If you saw how easy it is to do the brake pads on your car, you would shit your fucking pants.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
It's bizarrely easy. And when you see the bill that you get for brake
Yeah.
pads, you're like, "Oh, you pieces of shit."
And then the labor too.
Yeah, well, the labor is the big one,
Yeah.
but it's a
Um,
joke. It's a
uh,
joke to do them.
see, I do maintenance kind of like that, but not on. People are like say, "Oh, you work on semi trucks."
Mm.
No, I work on the trailer ends. I'm a semi trailer mechanic.
Okay,
I
so you know shit like that.
Yeah, so like I do the brakes, I do wheel seals, I do a ton of stuff. Like I even exist when we're doing like heavy, like major repair, like when we take down these side panels and put new ones up and hand rivet them, like where you need two people to buck rivets. Like
Right,
I've done stuff like that, but like as a car mechanic, I can work my way through it. I've worked on my cars, but I'm not gonna lie. I like recently, like even get an oil change. I live in an apartment. I'm not gonna do an oil change in the parking lot.
right, right,
I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna take it to someone just and have it done, and I'll pay a little bit more than I could have,
right.
and just get it done and get going because
I've done my brakes. This is a true story. I've done my fucking brakes in the parking lot of a Home Depot.
oh wow,
Because the Home Depot parking lot by me, they also have a garage that has like a second level.
yeah,
So it was, it was like a warm out, whatever, springtime. I literally parked my car in the corner on the top level. Not many people there. Got out, did my brakes. It took about an hour. Every
yeah,
fucking time, boom, boom, boom. Bye. Because the parking lot where I live has kind of like
mm,
a slope to it.
yeah.
So I don't want to jack my car up with a slope. I don't like that shit. I want a
No,
flat ass thing, and that's it.
it was funny. I was driving. I actually have a buddy that just coincidence that he literally lives across from the wall from my apartment, and
Okay.
it's not like oh just one building. We have many buildings around here. Like I don't want to give people ideas, but I choose this because it works better for me.
Mhm.
But it just happened. My buddy's literally right there. Like
Right.
from he's on the other side of my kitchen wall.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I'm driving home. I see this dude in the parking lot. Instead of using jacks, he's using tires as his jack stand so he could, I guess, do an oil change. And I saw that, I was like, well, one, I'm glad he's a skinny dude because I certainly, even how high he had it, I even what I do, I don't like to be on my back like that. I prefer have a creeper.
Right. Yeah, right, exactly.
But some people do old school, just crawl on their backs. I don't
That's
want to.
funny. I never even knew that was the name of that. A
What, the
creeper.
creeper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even if you would have asked me to say what the fuck that was, I'd be like, I don't know, the roly thing that you lay on. Who, by the way, anybody listening to this, who had Casey and Filthy are gonna get into an auto mechanics conversation on their
Oh,
fucking bingo card.
exactly. That's a good point. I,
Yeah.
I mean, dude, like, we just could chat all the time if we wanted to. Like,
Oh,
dude,
I'm a huge bullshit artist. I know a little thing about a lot of shit. You know what I mean? That's just how I
yeah.
am. I don't know, I had a lot of interests.
Before we get into that, I do want to bring up, continue talking about more of that CEO deal.
Mm.
Like, it's crazy. I do think the cops know who this person is right away
Yeah, 100%. There's no fucking way they don't.
because they had them tracked back where he came from a bus from Atlanta,
Right.
and they're like, this like, all right, and he spent 10 days in the hostel, and then the day where he did the murder, he stopped at Starbucks to get
Well,
coffee
but
and
that's all right. So that's why I say, right, even though there's shit written on the bullets,
yeah.
if you were a big
Ooh,
time elite guy that got
yeah,
fucked in this stock deal,
yeah.
wouldn't you want to make it look like it's that?
This
You know
guy's
what I mean?
this guy's throwing a lot of people uh, off the case with stuff.
You got
So,
this. So this is the thing. And then, a lot of people, normal people in life, they're playing checkers,
mm,
right? They're going step by step by step,
yeah,
right? I'm going to do this. Okay, I did this. Now I'm not going to move to the next thing. When
yeah,
you get into
playing
elite
chess.
guys, they're playing chess, right? They're thinking 4, 5, 6 steps ahead,
Oh
right?
yeah.
That's how they are. So that's why when people like poo poo, are you a conspiracy theorist? I'm like, dude, if you don't realize that these people got to where they are because they had a
Mm.
fucking plan, then you're insane. Right?
Oh,
They didn't
definitely.
get to the top of the fucking industry by the seat of their pants. What are you talking about? You don't understand. I have them downstairs. I have it downstairs. That's probably worth money. In the case, in its leather, well, I don't even, it's pleather.
Yeah.
I have my Trump University textbooks, right? I did it. It was a real estate thing. I didn't think it was a fucking university when I did it. I didn't think I was going to get a diploma, right? So when people
Mhm.
say, "Oh, it's not a real university," if you thought it was a real university, you're a fucking idiot, right? But I've read a lot of billionaire materials about where they came from, how they think. Robert Kiyosaki, Donald Trump, all these guys. I've read them
Yeah.
all. I've read a lot of them, and they all say there's certain things that they have in common. Have a plan, have goals. Goals are a big thing. Write them down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They all say that shit, right?
Mhm.
And when they make moves, they're not just, they're not just a guy in an office somewhere in the final stage of a final fight fucking game working by themselves. They have teams of people that think together.
Oh
That's how
yeah.
they are, right? They don't make decisions by themselves. They have accountants, they have lawyers, they have tax professionals, they have
Mm.
all these fucking people, right? And then they have a lot of people have these creeps on the side that they keep and they need some. Listen, everybody knows that Boeing fucking assassinated 2 fucking people recently that were going to testify against them. That happened in fucking broad daylight. Oh, he killed him. He killed himself in his car. He shot himself in his car in the parking lot of a hotel where he was staying because he was about to testify against Boeing. That makes sense. Of course. Of course. Hey, Donald Trump, there was an assassination attempt on him, right? But the first one, which is there's
Oh
really three.
yeah.
There's really a third one, but nobody talks about. But that doesn't matter. They
Oh, I
fucking
heard. I heard there was like 3 or 4.
yeah. There was a third one. It wasn't an attempt as far as like the other two, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the big one, the one that he gets shot in the ear.
Yeah.
This guy gets on a fucking roof. They see him with a fucking rangefinder, like an hour, more than an hour before this shit.
Yeah.
They didn't even set the
Exactly.
fucking stage up yet. The cops see him with it. They don't
Hmm.
do shit. Then he's on. Now you fast forward. He's on the roof with the fucking gun. There's people
Yeah.
screaming to police. This guy has a gun. Right. This is like 20 minutes before.
And they still let him on
He
stage.
gets the shot off. He gets a few shots off, right?
Yeah.
Hits Trump in the ear. That's obviously the whole thing, and kills one person, and the other
Yeah.
person gets one. Then this kid, they take his body, they cremate it. They don't even do a fucking toxicology report.
Oh shit.
There's no toxicology report. And why wouldn't you? Why would you not want to do a toxicology report? Because the CIA, and this is not me just saying it, could look it up. In MK Ultra, when they were doing fucking mind control experiments, they were using drugs. They were using LSD. They
Oh.
were experimenting with drugs to mind control motherfuckers. That's why Charles Manson was big on LSD. All his fucking crew there, the Manson family, they're all LSD heads. The CIA taught him, if you want to read a book that'll throw you fucking, make your head explode, read the book Chaos. I'm telling you, it's all about all that shit. The CIA, the MK Ultra, the whole fucking thing. The Manson family, it's wild. But they
I.
didn't do a toxicology report. Not only that, when they get to where he was staying, this kid, his house,
Yeah.
there's no silverware there. The
What?
whole thing is fucking clean. It's almost as if he's living in an empty fucking house, right?
What?
Not only that, he has, so now this person's obviously been radicalized, right? He's
Yeah.
trying to shoot the fucking president. He has no social media presence whatsoever. Really? So where the
Wow.
fuck did he get this information from? Right? Where did he get radicalized from? You know what I mean? It's this what that one right there is so blatantly fucking obvious that
It.
the government was involved, and everybody nobody talks about it anymore. Everybody pretends it didn't even fucking happen.
Well, the
It's
thing is, the
yeah,
second the second dude had definitely a platform. I think he was a YouTuber.
dude. He was fucking when the Ukraine shit kicked off. He was over there.
Yeah.
There's video of him like trying to drum up fucking support for it.
Yeah.
Not only that, he got arrested 20 years ago for what's the word for having weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
That's
What
he
the
got
fuck is
arrested for that.
that?
Yeah.
What the
What
fuck
the
is that?
But this is what I'm it's but here's the thing is that it's why it's everything's out in the open now cuz not enough people give a fuck.
I didn't say
Casey,
that.
there's people still walking around with fucking masks on outside. Right? If that
Yeah.
doesn't tell you all you need to fucking know. The woman just the other day on I think it was Twitter or Facebook, this guy, I don't know, somebody put a picture up of someone and the two people behind them had masks on, and somebody commented, they still got masks on. And a woman out of nowhere goes, "You're just a science denier." It's like, are you insane? Are you that dumb still? Are you that? But yes, there's
I,
that people that are that dumb. Yes, there are.
well, I've seen people like I can understand that they still want to be health, like protect themselves if they go into like a public area like a gas station. That's where I'll see every once in a while a mask. Like, okay, I can understand, but if you're in your inside your car by your fucking self,
Right.
wearing a fucking mask, it's like, hold on, are you going to catch COVID by yourself? Like, is
No,
your
it's
car?
ridiculous. No, but the other thing, even the masks outside at a gas station, all that shit.
Yeah,
It's like, listen, If I fart in your fucking face, are you gonna smell it? Oh, you're gonna smell it. So what the fuck do you think that mask is stopping? If you could smell my fart, you think it's gonna stop a virus from getting breathed in, dickhead?
No,
You know what I mean?
they said before it only prevents. I mean, it's not like
It,
I
it
mean,
doesn't
it's
even do
like
that.
I mean, there's some people what wear 3 masks or something,
It's
2 or 3.
ridiculous. It's absolute. Listen, that was a psychological operation on everyone. Nobody sees it that way, but that's what it was. It was like, let's see what we could tell these motherfuckers that they're gonna just buy. I have I have a post from March 2020, early March 2020, where I went on Facebook and I said, listen, I'm telling you right now, if you think a surgical mask is going to stop you from breathing in everything, you're a fucking idiot. And you don't need to be a fucking medical expert or go to 8 years of fucking medical school to know that. I have it and I saved it and I reposted it about 6 months ago. I said, oh, look at this. Seems like I knew some shit without going to fucking medical school. That's the thing with today is that you're not an expert. I'm like, listen, I don't need to be one, right? If I have to do shoulder surgery or knee surgery, you have a point. But when it
Yeah,
comes to just information, it's all right fucking here. What are you talking about? This is not, I don't have to go to the fucking library and open up the World Book Atlas to find
yeah,
out fucking info. Stop it. These these
or
doctors, they pretend like they went to fucking Hogwarts and they learned some fucking spells and shit that nobody else knows. It's like, dude, it's not how this works. And the other thing, and I told my nephew this the other day. I said, nobody told me this. He's 14. I said, but you look at all these adults, right? And you kind of feel like, oh, they got to figure it out. Oh, he knows a lot of shit. Oh, they know a lot of shit. Oh, he's an expert. He knows shit. I'm like, I'm telling you right now, everyone is winging this.
yes,
They're all figuring it out as they go. Some people are more successful than others. Obviously, that's true. I said, but
yeah,
there's no, I said, think about it this way. We're all playing a video game, right? Nobody gave us the instruction booklet for. You don't even know what the fuck's coming. You don't know how to handle. Nobody knows how to handle the shit.
no.
So
We're we're
yeah,
modern, dude. If you really think about it, we're a modern day video game
right.
because we don't even come with an instruction bullet book anymore. There's no paperwork.
There
So
no,
if you
there's nothing.
if you want anything, you have to look it up or scan the QR code to go
Right.
to see it. Check that out.
So when I when I see Jesus, hold on a second. God damn. When I see somebody out there very confidently saying this is the way this is and this is the way this is and it's got to be done this way, it's got to be done that way, right away my feeling is go fuck yourself because
Exactly.
you don't know shit. You're not you're not humble enough to understand that you don't know shit, right?
Or
I'm not saying I do, right? But I will tell you this, and I maybe even more than video games, I eat fucking information for breakfast every single day, right? And the wild thing is, the more information you accrue in your brain, the
mm,
more you figure out, oh, I don't know anything.
oh
I
yeah.
don't know shit. Holy shit. Like I don't like it's the weird thing. Like you would think that, oh, as you learn more, you're like, oh, I'm getting more, I know more. No, no, no. You figure out, oh, this
Well,
is holy shit.
for me, I'm kind of like what, like I said, what I do is I tell them I don't know everything on like
Nobody does.
but I'm still willing to learn
Yeah.
stuff and learn new techniques. And even there's some tech like when you're doing some maintenance work, like there's different ways to do different jobs. Like yeah, there's some things you need to do. You use this torque wrench to set at a certain, and it gets anal where like we put it at a torque it to a certain pound, and then you have to go from one angle to the other. Like that's one thing, but when you're doing other things like you're assembling stuff, like there could be other ways
Right.
to do it. So there's no right or wrong way,
Yeah,
unless you just
there's more efficient ways to do it
Yeah.
There's more, there's more thorough ways to do shit, right? Everybody's got a
Yeah.
style of doing it, right? But the thing is, there's people that do their job and they don't care about getting better. So,
No.
they just kind of wing the shit, right? But if you kind of I think but that's not really even if you hate your job, right? I don't like what I do, but um I have the personality of I'm interested to figure out ways. Listen, the job I do, I've been doing it for 22 years,
Oh,
right?
wow.
I still learn shit. And can I tell you something? When I've been doing it 30 years, 8 years from now, I'll still learn shit. And if you're
Oh,
humble enough to
yeah.
understand that, then you will get better at shit.
Yeah.
Some people don't give a shit. They don't care about
I
getting
want
better at anything. They just don't
mm,
care.
I get a feeling it's like it's the younger guys and it's also the older guys because the older guys think they know everything, and then it's the young punks that's come into the field and they think they already know everything.
Well, that all right. So I used to be something called a field inspector on a construction site, right? And then what
Mm,
that is if they're pouring concrete, you test the temperature of the concrete, you test the air content. Believe it or not, concrete has air content, or sometimes it does not have air content. Um, you test. There's something called a slump, right? And you basically take a cone. It's like a metal cone, right?
yeah.
And you put the concrete in it. You step on these two things. It holds the cone down the ground, and you fill it with concrete, right? And you do it. It doesn't really matter, but you do it in 3 layers, whatever. And then what happens is you pull this cone off the ground, and the more the concrete slumps,
Yeah.
the more wet it is, right? The more
Yeah.
water content's going to be in that. And there's regulations and what happens is as that slumps down, you take the
Mm,
cone and you measure the top of the slump of the top of the pile of concrete to the top of the cone,
uh,
and it gives you the amount of inches of slump. That's how that works. And then there's a regulation of how many inches. It doesn't matter. I'm telling you right now, most of that shit's bullshit. Most of it's bullshit. And this is one of my probably my favorite boss I've ever had in my life. When I first started in that industry, 1999, he was probably the most knowledgeable person in New York about all this shit, right? And he told me, he said, "Listen, Mike, he's like, I know all the regulations from he's like, if you talk about a regulation, I could tell you the page number, I could tell you what paragraph it's in." He's like, that being said, what happens in the textbook and what happens in the field are two different fucking things.
oh,
He's
yeah.
like he's like, "You gotta use common sense." So you're right. The younger people think, "Oh, the textbook says." Nah, that's
Yeah.
not how life works. That's not how life
Exactly.
would the textbook. Yeah, it's kind of a good guide, but that's
Yeah.
not how life works. Like you gotta and I really annoy these people on the job sites now because they walk around with their clipboards and their hard hats and their glasses and they're writing shit down and whatever. And when I really want to aggravate them, because I'll talk to them and I'll be like, "Oh, I used to do this shit," and they'll know, "Oh, this guy knows some shit." I'm like, "Can I ask you a question?" This aggravates the fuck out of them when I do this. I said, when they built the Roman Colosseum, I said, how many people were standing around with clipboards? How many people were doing concrete
Oh,
slumps? How much rebar is in the Roman Colosseum? Zero. I said, but it's still there.
yeah.
Right? Nobody was testing air content. Nobody was testing temperature. It's still there. I said, you see this fucking building we're building right now? It's loaded with rebar. Everybody tested every corner of every fucking thing. I said, and you know what? You're lucky if this thing's here 100 years from now. I said, what does that tell you? I said, I tell you what it tells you. It's all bullshit. It's all horse shit. That's what it is.
Well, I mean, gosh, I mean, yeah, not only the pyramids are mainly still
Yeah,
there. Well, you got the Sphinx. The only thing where, like, the Sphinx, the nose fell off. But
right.
I mean, when it's a couple thousand, maybe what, 2, 3 thousand
No,
years
it could be
old,
more than that. It could be 10,000 years.
and where only the nose fell off of it.
Right. It could be 12,000 years. They don't even anybody that says they know the age of that fucking thing, they don't know shit. Because
No,
when they do carbon dating, they can only date something from organic material, right? They
yeah,
can't date stone. You can't date that. You can only date the organic material that's caught between the fucking bricks or caught
yeah,
between, and then date that and then kind of be like, "Oh, this is at least this age." But they don't know what the fuck that is. They don't know how old
no.
that is.
No, but I mean, you bring up a great point. Like, yeah, like you definitely in like the pyramids and stuff like that. They don't have rebars and shit. And that, and if they did, that was some probably
They
take
didn't even have iron then. They didn't even
uh,
have fuck, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't have that shit.
exactly. No, that's they definitely didn't have like iron bars,
No.
but so it's not like they were mass producing anything like that.
No, I don't think they had iron. When is the Iron Age? Let's see. When was iron?
Invented.
Yeah. When was iron? No, it says when was Iron Man created? I don't give a fuck what. Okay, that iron was discovered. All right, so it is pretty long ago. Anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000 BC. So it is a long time ago.
Well, what I was thinking is more like the staffs and spears, and that's
Right,
what I was
weapons.
thinking. Weapons, and
Yeah,
even some tools were proven to be came out. Think from the caveman days where they're using tools, but I mean it was definitely like crude version of tools, like a
right.
spear. Like you don't see them
Yeah.
with a fucking scissors,
No.
but
Again,
no,
when we
but
were in school, they told us the oldest fucking civilization was the Sumerians, right? That was the original civilization, and that was what, 6,000 BC, right? And
mm-mm.
then in 2000, they find this fucking thing in Turkey, Göbekli Tepe, which is this fucking ancient site, right? It's fucking 12,000 years old. And they're not carving into the stone. They're carving like shit that's coming out of stone.
Yeah,
What the fuck were they using?
that's a
They, you
good
know what I'm
point.
saying? That's what I'm saying. When people fucking say this is the way things are, it's like you don't even know shit. Stop
No,
pretending you know. Nobody knows shit. Stop.
I
You
mean,
can't. You can.
look at what people did for Mount Rushmore. I mean,
Yeah.
like, yeah, that modern day they use explosions, but like I didn't realize even to the little glint in their eyes, like that's like a square piece and that they carved out. I was like, wow, you don't really think about it because I guess you really do need that little square in their eyes to because I guess it wouldn't look lifelike. It would look like
Right.
they have dark eyes, I guess.
Right.
But
Dude, there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit that we don't know. So like that's like you got to be humble in this life. You know what I mean? You can't go around thinking, I'm the fucking man. If you're going around telling people you're the fucking man, then guess what? You're pretty much not the fucking man.
no,
Yeah.
and if you are, see the here thing, I do believe we're like if you become too good in your position, guess what? You get stuck there.
Right.
Like you have to be good enough to move up, but not too good where you're stuck.
It's all right. So it's I was all right. So I've been kind of getting into fighting games again,
Yeah,
right? Um I made a little bit money on DraftKings, right? On some
nice.
bets. So I always wanted to, not that I'm gonna compete in fighting games, but you know what a hitbox is?
No.
A hitbox is a controller, a fighting stick, basically, right? Without
Oh,
a stick, there is no stick. So to do the controller part is just buttons. right? It's kind of like on a computer, right? To move
Yeah.
forward, is A, what is it? AWS and what is it?
Yeah.
AWSD. So think of something like that, right? So you're not using a stick to move, you're using buttons. So it's the same concept, right? So these controllers are banned in a lot of tournaments because in the beginning, I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm sure it's really awkward to use.
Oh
But when you
yeah.
get good at it, think about how quick you can, let's say, throw a fireball with Ryu with just a couple button presses versus having to actually go in the motion.
Yeah. Like
You know what I
they're
mean?
either doing it with a joystick or even a D pad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So think about how easy it is to just go with just three buttons, just like
Yeah.
that. So it comes down when you get into tournaments, it comes down to milliseconds of speed of how you can get a move off, right? Think about in Street Fighter 2, right?
Mm,
To do Guile's flip kick, right? You got to hold down and push up and hit kick, and he does the flip kick, right? To do it with a stick, you got to kind of it's kind of hard to do because you can't just go down up because then he's going to jump straight up in the air. You got to kind of
yeah.
hold down a little bit and then go up. With this fucking button thing, it's like, bloop, bloop. You know what
See,
I mean?
I play fighting games, but you and the Rose Gaming are more into that. Like I suck at fighting
No,
games.
I mean, listen, I if I went online and played, I'd get my ass handed to me. I used to play a lot but that was in person. It wasn't online. It
Mm,
was more. I didn't even know the minutia of, um, you know, dude. Because all right, so one of my favorite um YouTube channels. It's not only fighting games, but he's like a fighting game expert. I don't know if you ever heard of him. His name is Maximilian Dude.
no.
He talks a lot about fighting games and the minutia of um the reach of certain moves that Rio can do in Street Fighter 2 versus Street Fighter 3 versus Street Fighter Alpha versus and how there's certain characters in those games. Like I was always like a Ryu guy. I used to like him to use him all the time, but
Mm,
he's got a way big disadvantage against other fighters in certain games because they have a certain reach. They have a
yeah.
certain speed of a move they can do. They have a certain, you know what I mean? So there's like I didn't know any of that shit. I like there's this very minute minutia in these games that I had no idea about. I was just going in blind. I'm using Ryu. Go fuck yourself. Meanwhile, people have an advantage using a different character because they can easily counter the shit that he could do because of certain things. So
yeah.
I'm interested in when you get into the perfection of shit, it's just the littlest things that people get an advantage of or advantage from. So I'm very interested to see once I get my hands on this fucking thing. Um, I'm gonna be an idiot using it the first time, but yeah, but it's very interesting. Just I'm very interested to see that shit.
I
Um,
know. I know one thing. Like I play Fort. I mean, I used to play a lot of Fortnite. Not.
mhm.
I don't really play it much anymore because it was just playing for a couple years straight, and after a while, I got burnt out of it. And but here's the thing: I feel like console players should play with just console players because
Of course,
when you're
of
playing
course.
with PC players like Fortnite, yeah, I guess if you play with no build, then it's a little bit more even kill. But if you're playing
No,
with
not even because if you're a console player, you have no chance against a PC player. I'm just sorry, you just don't. Because
uh,
aiming with a mouse is way more easy and quick than aiming with a fucking analog stick.
yeah,
I don't give a shit how good you are with the analog stick. Aiming with a mouse, forget it. And then we're not even talking about the cheats, right? The aim bots and all that other shit.
oh yeah,
We're talking just, straight, I'm using a mouse versus you using controller. I
yeah,
have a way bigger advantage
and
over your controller shit.
and
And I'm a
then
console player, but that's just how it is.
you put the building in, like you're building your steps or you're building, and you're using your controller to build, and you still had to use certain emotions. While the PC people they'll build like
Yeah, yeah.
in
Oh,
five.
yeah. Well, you ever watch Ninja play? It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
He builds fucking walls and shit like like quick, like blah, 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 blah. He just throws it right up there
yeah,
because you have your right hand. Well, I'm assuming your right hand is your mouse and aiming and all that other
yeah,
shit, and then your left hand is all the building shit. You know what I mean? You can't do that
yeah.
with a fucking controller. You just can't do it.
And like they're like they build their fucking fortress like in split
Yeah.
second, like, and they're already on top of you. I'm like, you can't compete with that.
No, you can't. You can't.
So like I won a lot of games on rounds in Fortnite, but it's not like if I had about a couple hundred wins, solo wins,
Mhm.
but that's minus thousands of times I went into playing around.
Mm.
So it's like if there's sometimes I would got maybe like a back to back solo wins,
Right.
but then how many times I would lose after or before.
Right.
So, but uh, it's just I like I say I yeah console players need to just with console players and PC need to just be with PC because there's way too much advantage
Of
for
course,
the
especially because PC has a lot more cheats involved too. There's a lot more
oh
cheats
yeah
available on PC. That's why I stopped playing online games because of cheats and because of, um, connection shit,
hmm
people making games lagged. It's impossible to just have a pure experience. I don't think that's even possible. There's always gonna be motherfuckers doing shit, and that
yeah.
I just get aggravated by it. Um, so I don't even like the input lag and all that other shit. Like, I didn't wanna I didn't wanna well, that was the other thing that the reason I brought that up. There's a difference between Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition in the arcade or Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition on like like I just got the 30th anniversary Street Fighter collection for like 20
Yeah.
bucks. There's like 12 Street Fighter games. That's unbelievable. But the speed at which your inputs are arcade versus Genesis versus the arcade version on PS4 versus the arcade version on a Saturn or you know what I mean, is
Yeah.
different. There's a difference. I didn't know
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I never knew that. You know what I mean? But these fighting game experts, they know that shit.
Well, nowadays, like, even with some of the more modern consoles, like, would have their arcade sticks. Even like I know at least PS3, probably in the PS2, but era, but like Genesis had their little bit of a uh arcade stick. I'm sure Super Nintendo had something, but um God,
Well, the first one I can remember is the NES Advantage.
oh yeah, I
That was the
had
first.
that.
Yeah. But even though I preferred the NES Max, I
Yeah,
preferred playing with the yeah, I preferred playing with the Max. And it was funny because we used to argue which has the faster turbo button. And it was all both the same shit. It
oh
didn't, it was both the same. And we tested out. Like I remember arm wrestling on track and field too, right?
yeah.
Um, you know, you'd have to hit the button as fast as you can to win the arm wrestling match. And we would just go head to head and hold the turbo buttons down and nobody would win. I'm like, yeah, so it's the same shit.
That's funny. Like no, yeah. The advantage that was cool because it would be me and my brother, my older
Mm,
brother, and we would play with the advantage. And but you would plug it in both ports,
mm,
and you switch from had literally switching from one player to the second player.
right.
But it was always hard to play with it because I when you move on to the D pad of the NES, it. I still feel like when we moved from that from the joystick to a D pad, it was made the joystick almost obsolete.
Right. No, it did. It definitely did. But when you get into fighting games, the stick is better. The stick is just
I
better.
I had to resort to you because, like I said, I didn't know.
Like we just said, PC has an advantage over consoles. A
Yeah,
fighting stick has a way big advantage over a controller. Way big. I'm sure there's really good
yeah,
controller players, but
yeah,
just the fact that, and
the-
I'm sure they make controllers that map the buttons in a certain way, but
yeah,
I'm just talking about stock PlayStation 5 controller or Xbox controller, um, versus a fighting stick where all the buttons are just mapped out perfectly like that. You know what I mean? Like on a PS5 controller, if you're playing Street Fighter and you have jab, medium punch, high punch, and you have 6 buttons, you have to map some of those buttons to the fucking triggers. That's like
yeah.
annoying. You know what I mean? To play those games, that's annoying to do. So
Well, I got an
look,
idea.
we're an hour and 5 minutes in. We still haven't talked about a single fucking Atari 2600 game,
Exactly. I was thinking about that.
which, by the way, had a stick and one button.
Exactly.
Do I have a control? Do I have a controller here?
I have one, but I
I
would
think I
have to.
have one, but it's not plugged into this thing.
I would have to pull it out. I can always come back and put a picture on it when in editing. So what I'll probably do is I might split this in two.
Okay.
Have this as like I gotta use this because that was just fun as fuck.
Yeah.
So like I said, I got a couple cool things, got a couple modern things, and one really old school thing. So
Mm.
uh I'm gonna just I'll figure out where this pause and
Yeah.
cut, and then
All
let's
right.
just go ahead right into it. I don't know how much more time you're available.
I'm good. I mean, I got I'm gonna probably we were gonna decorate our Christmas tree. I mean, we have it up. It's, whatever, but we're gonna put the like the balls, Christmas ornaments on it and
Yeah.
shit. But that's whatever. And then
I,
I put red NFL red zone in the background to to pay attention
oh,
to fantasy football shit. And then that's it. Um yeah,
and
I
I
mean
do.
nothing important. Nothing really
Okay.
important going on.
I do appreciate you coming on because it was very short notice. Because
Well,
I love,
dude, it was just the other day.
yeah,
I don't. It's
it,
funny. I don't stream a lot when I play video games.
yeah,
I probably should stream more, but if I'm playing video games, it's early in the morning, and
mm,
sometimes I'm sure you could see. Sometimes I just want to play video games and relax and not have to talk. You know what I mean?
oh, I
And
understand that.
sometimes I get fucking mad and I say some shit that shouldn't be on fucking YouTube. That I'll fucking say. But yeah, but I should. You know what it is? When I stream on my PS5, if
Yeah.
somebody comments, sometimes I don't even see the comment, but sometimes like the comment will come up in the bottom corner and it'll only
Mm.
be a piece of it. So I don't even know what the full comment is. I don't know if that's
Oh yeah.
a setting that, I don't know how that fuck. I don't know if it's a setting that I have to fix. I don't know what that is.
I know that's stupid because on PS4 it was perfect.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't
I'm gonna
know
say,
how you fuck that up.
oh, the only thing I would say that I would change from the PS4 version is because every once in a while you get an asshole troll, and either they'll say something like controversial in there, or they'll straight up like say something stupid like they're trying to dox someone. I'm like, oh great, I had to hit stop what I'm doing
Oh my
because
god.
I that has happened where they're not saying they're doxing me, but they'll dox. Sadly, well, they would do Ken. I'm like, that's fucked up.
Well, yeah, but that's
And,
what fucking people do.
and I literally would have to cut that whole thing out because obviously I don't want Ken to get doxed. I mean,
Think about because Joe Rogan used to live stream, like his episodes used to be live,
yeah.
and he'd have a comment section, all that shit. Imagine dealing with that scale of motherfuckers
Oh,
where you see the comment section, you can't even read
yeah.
a comment because it's just blowing by. So you can't
Yeah.
even handle that shit.
Well, I don't know if you ever follow Locale Live or with Keemstar stuff.
I just saw something the other day. I don't follow it, but there was some argument between this fucking one chick
Uh,
and this other chick. She said,
yeah,
you're just a set of tits or something." Or so,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, dude, I suggest watching it because it's crazy. Especially this Tina woman. She's out of her fucking mind. She
Is that
wears
the one with the tits, or is that the one with? It was like an older chick.
the older chick.
Oh,
Lot,
okay.
so a lot of times she'll wear this helmet says I think it says "boss up" or "boss out" or
I like
something.
how she's calling other people ugly and shit. Meanwhile, she's like at the end of
Oh,
fucking Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade when he drinks out of the wrong fucking chalice. Like if you paused it halfway through the
yeah,
transformation,
that's
that's
her.
her fucking face. That's like I always felt Michelle Obama. Like when they used to tell me she's beautiful, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, she literally looks like, and I remember there was a comedian that said the same thing. She looks like if somebody was in the middle of transforming from a human to a werewolf and in the middle
Oh,
got caught between it. Like that's what she looks like. If you got caught like in mid transformation, that's what fucking Michelle Obama looks like, in my
oh.
opinion.
For me, I'm like, I fought the other chicks. I fought the bigger. I like bigger women. So the
Yeah,
one with the
yeah.
big tits woman, even though they pretty much canceled her off, they fired her and
Yeah,
canceled.
what was that? That was like a it was like an elimination almost, or
Well, uh, it was kind of like where it was kind of from her. They Keemstar wants to brand a new channel called Local Queens, where it's four women, 3 or 4 women are doing being locals,
mm,
and one of them wanted to cut one of them off. I guess either have a bigger slice of the pie or whatever. But the big tit woman, the big woman,
mm.
she went in with a PowerPoint presentation to try to knock one of this out. I'm like, at first I thought this woman, well, not only I was attracted to her, but she seemed cool. They even did more stuff with her previous, but she came with this PowerPoint presentation to try to get this one girl fired. Like that's pretty fucked up to go that far
Well, but
into
that's what
just
that's about. I mean, you're putting yourself out there, right? I mean, that's the game, right?
yeah.
Like I used to tell Tommy NC all the time when he used to freak out and get mad. I'm like, Tommy, listen, you've been doing this shit longer than I have, but I'm just telling you, as a friend and as a person,
Mm,
that there's never going to be a time if you're on YouTube or you put yourself out there on the internet. There's never going to be a time when everybody's nice. That just
oh,
doesn't
definitely.
exist, right? So you got to if you can't operate with people being an asshole, then you got to have a second. You got to kind of think about this shit. That's just how it is, right? That's just how it is. People are just going to be assholes. You're not going to get rid of
Yeah,
assholes. It's impossible. You can't do it.
yeah.
And
But
assholes, they serve a purpose too. Like 10 years ago, remember it was like 10 years ago, probably maybe even longer than that, when they started talking about, oh, we want to ban bullying. And I'm like, what are you talking about? First of all, that's
that's not possible.
impossible, right? But also, but also, and listen, I was bullied as a kid. It
Yeah.
definitely was not fun.
No.
But depending on the person, it could help you become a better person, right? Even if it's just verbal bullying, not even physical bullying, just people
Yeah.
like even if it's friends, right? Now you can
Hmm.
edit this out, but um, when me and my friends used to hang out and somebody was wearing something or doing something and or saying, "Oh, I want to do this," and you went, "What are you, a fag?" Right? Like when your friends used to say that to you,
Oh
you
yeah.
you would be like, "Wait a minute, I don't want to be a fag." So maybe he's right. You kind of like look into yourself like maybe I am being a fag. That's actually a good thing as a person to have self-reflection. That teaches you self-reflection. You would think
Oh.
about things before you did shit, right? Now everybody
Mm,
kisses everybody's ass, and that's why you get people like I just saw an article. What the fuck magazine was it? It was like a huge popular magazine. Fuck.
that's why we got
This
this woke culture nowadays. Like
This
this,
person was bragging in an article in the title about the incest in Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon and how it turns her on. And it's like, this is what happens when you normalize creepy shit, right? The creeps start coming out, right? They start showing themselves. They feel like, oh, everybody's okay with creeps. Here come, let's be a creep. That's what happens.
oh yeah, thinking back in '06 when Sonic '06, apparently at the very end, and when you beat the game, the princess, a human princess that Sonic saves, at the very end, Sonic dies. So a human princess decided to lay a kiss on a animal. like
Right.
I'm like, so they're like, obviously they're not tending anything, but of course people are warp minded and they're like, oh, that's God, what they call it, bestiality. I'm like,
But nobody, again, it's like I heard a conversation between Bill Maher and Robert Zemeckis the other day, and they're talking about Back to the Future, how in the first Back to the Future, technically Biff was trying to rape what's her name in the car, right?
that's right, that's
But
true.
nobody like looked at it. It's like, this is a movie. Nobody's really getting raped.
Yeah,
There wasn't even an actual rape that went down. You know what I mean? It
no,
wasn't, but that's happened in movies before that, right? Real rapes, not
yeah,
real rapes. I'm saying rapes that
no,
happen in movies,
and
like in Death
scenes,
Wish and shit like that.
yeah,
But like, okay, like it's not real. So who gives a fuck? Like I heard a guy the other day, um, going on, and a lot of these shooters, a lot of these kid shooters, they play like one of three games. They play either Fortnite or they play Call of Duty, and it's all across the board. And it's like, see, that these games are a problem. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Again, that's not the problem. The Japanese play the same fucking games, and they're not killing everybody. So
nah.
what are you talking about?
Well, they play.
Movies, there's a lot of depictions of, it's a depiction of violence. Oh, GTA is the one he called. It's a depiction of violence, right? It's not really happening, right?
No.
In movies, it happens all the time. Nobody really got killed. So what's, unless you're in a fucking movie with Alec Baldwin, that's a whole different fucking
Nah,
story. Um,
I was thinking about that too.
but it's a depiction of violence. Oh, that's who it was, as a matter of fact, that was bringing this shit up. It was his brother, um, Danny Baldwin,
Oh,
brought it up. But again, that's not the fucking problem. The problem is, again, let's just go through every single one. These kids, right? As kids, when they're 7, 8 years old
mm,
and they're acting out, they're rambunctious, maybe they're not doing well in school.
yeah.
What do the parents do today? Instead of kind of being a parent and figuring out, hey,
They're like,
maybe this is because he's not doing enough activities physically. Maybe he's not doing this. Maybe he just doesn't even like school. Maybe he's an artist. Figuring it out. They go, I can't be bothered. Let me take him to a psychiatrist, and that psychiatrist puts that fucking kid on pills.
mm.
That's what the fuck happens.
And then
And
they throw an iPad in front of them. It's like, here, I want to make out or have sex with your dad while you watch this iPad for the next couple hours.
yeah, right. And the iPad has pretty much all the pornography that's ever existed, right?
Oh yeah,
Ever.
yeah.
And then I don't think there's a way. Dude, they give kids iPad. Like, even if the kid doesn't have an iPad at home, they give kids iPads at school.
Really?
Not every school, but yeah, that exists. And they can take it home. And there's no way. This is, by the way, stupid. I don't know why you can't do this, but there's no way apparently to lock out that shit,
I'm
in a
sure.
setting.
I'm sure there could be
I
like,
mean, you would think there would have to be, right? But
yeah,
I don't know. But that's hey, why you don't need a fucking iPad to learn shit. Stop it. It's ridiculous. You don't need it.
I
It's like
mean, I,
electronic voting. Electronic voting didn't make voting easier.
no, it
It
made it
made it
worse.
easier to cheat. That
Yeah,
it made, but it didn't make it easier, right? They're still counting fucking votes right now. Go look at the fucking tally of the 2024 election that happened over a month ago, right? Everybody remembers that when they called the fucking election that Trump
Yeah.
won by like 5 million votes. Go look at it now. He's only up by like 2 million.
Well, honestly, I'm glad. I'm assuming you voted for Trump, or
I did. This is only the second time in my life I voted for a Democrat or a Republican. Only the second time. The
really?
first time was in 2004, and again, it was the wrong decision, even though it didn't matter because he didn't win. But I voted for John Kerry only because
Ooh,
it
I
was. So here's the thing: I did what I make fun of people doing now. I voted for John Kerry not because I thought John Kerry was great, it's because I hated Bush.
yes,
That's why. It wasn't it. So this was only the second time. So ever since between those times, I voted for third parties.
I
I
think
didn't
I voted for John Kerry too,
Yeah,
but
and he's a
that's
piece
been
of shit. He's a piece of shit just like the rest of them. But again, I was a fucking idiot. And 10 years from now, when I look back in this video, I'm gonna think this person right here is a fucking idiot. But that's how you know you're growing as a human.
that's true.
You know what I mean? You can't if you agree with yourself 25 years ago, you're an asshole. I'm just sorry. You know what I mean? You're a dumb fuck. Maybe on certain things, right? You know, but if you really think the same way, you're not doing this correctly.
No, I agree. It's dude, like we could just chat for hours,
Yeah,
dude.
well,
I
I
know.
told you, Casey, I'm a huge horseshit artist.
I have no
That's my
problem.
if I had a guild, it would be a horseshit artistry.
And we're not even talking. We probably talked very little about video games that
Very little.
flow. Very little.
Right.
But like like I said, I want to get your idea about the whole CEO murder deal
Mm.
because like I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah.
But no, it was just we're both old school people, you know?
Right.
Like we're we
Are you what's so you wait, you said you were so 5 years after me. So you're not oh no, that's 19.
I'm a
You
millennial.
Oh, so you are. All right. So I was yeah, because I'm like tail end Gen X. But
Yeah,
that's, it's in the area, right? It's
yeah,
in the area.
I'm the older version of the
Right.
millennials. And I'm shocked I pronounced that properly
And
because
but you know what's funny? It used to be known as Gen Y. That's what it used to
yeah,
be known as, and somehow they changed it to millennials. That's
well,
why Gen Z is Gen Z, right?
yeah, and now
That's
you
why they
got
call
what
now they have
alphas.
Gen Alpha.
And think about the next one's going to be even worse. Gen Beta.
Oof,
It's
they're
like,
not gonna call themselves beta. There's no fucking way. They're gonna figure out something, but they ain't gonna call it if they call themselves beta. The younger Gen Zers,
yeah,
they're kind of they're rebelling against the woke Gen Z, like the older
that's
Gen Z.
good.
They really
I
are. They don't want to. It's like no, fuck this shit. I'm calling people names again. Good for you.
I
Call them
had
right to their fucking face names. That's exactly what you want to do.
I was on with Frank's channel during the legend,
Mhm.
and there he had a friend of his. There was a woman, and she just recently like she's in her mid-20s. I can't throw stones because I wanted to get out when I was younger, but I was I can't get hurt from this anymore. I mean, I can't hurt anyone emotionally
Mhm.
because they're both dead. But my mom was kind of like anytime I was thinking about wanting to move out and move in with a friend of mine, wherever I would get to, like, we got your husband. But like, I would get guilt tripped to
Yeah,
stay.
yeah.
And then finally, I broke out when I was 25.
Mhm.
But I think she finally realized I need to grow. I
Yeah,
mean, move on.
of
But
course.
I had go back. We were on this channel with Frank, and there's this woman who's a Gen Zer,
Mhm.
and she was making a big deal like I got. to a new place, and I don't even have a bed frame. We're sleeping on the mattress on the ground. I'm like, okay, when I moved up with my wife, or actually it was my fiance at the time, moved in the apartment, we only had her bed set. Uh, we had a TV and my collect what little bit of the collection, not to nowhere near where it is, but where it fit into a closet. Um, and we had to buy a futon and a stand for our TV,
Right.
and we just grew from there.
Right, and then but you
And
appreciate shit more because of it.
yeah, this woman was like saw all the stuff behind me and thought maybe I was rich or I was spoiled. I'm like, bitch, I earned this.
Right, well, but again, they're not seeing, um I had a conversation the other day when like a journalist will say, he was an overnight success, as a actor,
Yeah,
right? He's because he's 24 and but it's like, yeah, you don't see him as a teenager or in junior high school going to acting, school and doing all this shit. You think he just
mm,
happened overnight. That's just not how this happens.
no,
I'm sure some people get lucky and that happens, um
very rarely.
but it's like, listen, it's good to come from shit and kind of like slowly, build up.
Yeah,
It makes you a better human being. You respect and you appreciate the good shit, right? These
mm,
people that grew up with just all the money in the world, they don't
yeah.
appreciate anything.
Oh no,
And I'm saying it's very hard to appreciate anything when
yeah.
everything. And you know what's funny? If you have a ton of money and there's really nothing you can't have, that's a in it sounds great, but that's a terrible existence because
Oh yeah.
you don't where are you gonna get a dopamine hit
Well,
when
there's
you
no.
can have everything?
Not only that, you don't have to go and find a field of work if you're rich.
No, there's nothing. You see it all the time, like people um that win like championships or have a long road, like they haven't won anything, and then they finally win something. Um, and they figure out because they think, oh, that's the thing, the winning of the championship. That's what this is all about. And
Yeah,
then they figure out, well, no, what really was the fun of this was trying and fighting to get to it,
yeah,
right? So, like Michael Jordan, he in the beginning of his career, he couldn't win the championship, and then he finally got it. And then, he is obviously a very rare instance because he was just still hungry
yeah.
even after finally getting that championship. That doesn't happen to a lot of people. Some people they're just done after that.
They're
They're
satisfied.
satisfied or they're like, "Oh, I don't even know where to go from this." That motherfucker used to lie to himself that people were talking shit about him just to push himself. He was crazy, but that's what you have to be that. To be Michael Jordan, you have to be a fucking nut.
Oh
They
yeah,
yeah, what was it? I just heard a story about him where he would bet with other players on the team whose luggage would come out first at an airport. But the
that's fun.
motherfucker, what he would do is he would bribe the luggage people to have his fucking shit come out. Like that's how crazy he was. He was betting on luggage coming out. Like he's a fucking nut. But again,
That's brilliant.
oh yeah, he's a I mean, he's Michael Jordan, right? He
I would never thought about that. Like being at an airport, it's like I bet my bag's gonna come out before yours. I would
dude,
never thought
Joe
about that.
Rogan talks about it all the time. How when he used to hang out in a billiards hall, um, with like really scummy people that had addictions to gambling, that
Yeah,
if they were waiting to play like pool or shoot pool, and that somebody else was on the table, they would go if it was raining out, they'd get to the window and they would bet on which raindrop would reach the bottom of the fucking window pane first.
What?
Oh yeah, insanity. Because
That's great.
that they're looking for, that's what gives them a dopamine hit, is the gambling, right? A
Yeah.
and some of them are so advanced that it's not, they don't even get it from a win anymore, they get it from a loss. It's a real fucking, they get really fucked up over shit. People are complex, man.
Yeah.
You
Well,
don't know what they're. Yeah.
I brought this up before, like other times, but it's like when people are like, "Why do you collect?" I was like, "One, I mean, it's something I like to do. It's a hobby, and but like, there's some people who's rich. They're going like, "Oh, I've decided to get a full library of the NES." So they'll go on eBay, buy someone's full library on eBay, and they're like, "Oh, accomplished from with my wallet," and they look at it, it's like, "Oh, this is cool," and then like very shortly they probably look at it lately, and then they're like, "Why do I have this?" And they turn around and sell it, and
Right.
probably
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that you didn't. They didn't enjoy the road of finding every little game, going from store to store and whatever.
yeah,
You
or
know,
even
that's fun. That's fun to do.
yeah, and like or not holding on to games from when they were a child and
Oh
stuff
my
like that.
god, I'm so aggravated about that. I mean, I would have a fucking plethora of shit right now. Even I have a friend, my best friend, or one of my best friends, right? He has, I'm pretty sure, every Nintendo Power magazine and every Nintendo Fun Club magazine,
No
right?
shit.
And when I tell you they're near mint condition, I'm like, dude, I'm like, I tried to get my hands on Nintendo Power issue number 2, which has got Simon Belmont on the cover. And
Yeah.
in a shitty version, like a shitty encrusted version was like $50. He's
Wow.
got near he's got near mint pile of Nintendo Powers. And Nintendo Fun Clubs, I haven't even looked up what fucking how much those are, but I
I'm
can't
sure they're
oh,
I'm
I
sure
can't
they're
imagine how
expensive.
much those are.
Anything Nintendo, especially retro, oh my god. It's
He's got a
like
lot of shit. He's got a lot, dude. You know, he's upset because he never really got rid of games, but he sold, and this is years ago. He sold his Arkanoid on NES
yeah,
with the fucking Arkanoid controller.
yeah.
That I think is, and he had it in good condition. That would probably, that's one of those rare things.
Oh yeah, trying to find the Arkanoid controller, like I think I might have seen the controller once.
Dude, he still
Once.
has all his original Nintendo controllers with the, because we used to play a lot of Ivan Iron Man Stewart Super Off Road.
Oh yeah.
And he have the little fucking flags that you'd hang around the fucking wire that would be like, I'm the yellow car. This is the blue car. This is the red car. He still has those.
oh wow.
He has that 4-player, what the fuck was it for NES?
The Force
It,
Score.
yeah, he has it.
I
And
have
it's almost in mint condition.
see the store I go locally, they have uh a lot of times they'll have stuff like that. They'll even have the NES satellite where you plug it in and it make your NES controllers almost wireless.
Oh
Where
yeah, yeah.
like if you want to sit further back, it would just give you that little bit more distance. But now that it's probably best just to have a extension. Like they sell extensions
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's dude, and he wasn't really a collector. It's just this
Mm,
the shit he had. Oh, the other
yeah.
thing he's mad that he got rid of was the Super Scope.
Yeah, you know
Is that
what?
worth money, the Super Scope now?
Not that I know of. I don't know. I'm assuming at least if it's in its box, it'll be something a little bit more. But
Right.
like, I'm more of a zapper guy,
Yeah. Well,
and
I got one right here. Yeah. But the gray one. Fuck
yeah,
the orange one.
yeah. Well, I got the gray one as a child too.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Did you have the Rob the Robot?
I have one,
Right.
but it does work, but I don't have any of the accessories.
What, like
Oh,
the discs and the little
yeah.
fucking discs that he would spin up
No,
and drop on the fucking button
yeah, I
for
don't.
what was it? Gyromite was a
Yeah,
fucking,
Gerald might.
and
And
what
the other
else? Was
was
Wrecking
it
Crew a fucking no?
no stack 'em or something like that?
Oh no, you know what it was? Was it Clue Land? One of the fucking games that
No, no,
no.
no. I think it's stack 'em or something like that. It's a rare game to come by because Jeremiah was more obviously more uh, common
Right.
because you can play that with the two players though. Stack 'em, I don't know, but
A very underrated, and I probably even mentioned this before, a very underrated Nintendo Zapper game that doesn't get talked about a lot, and it's one of the I don't think it's an original game, but it was close to being one of the original NES games, is Gumshoe.
yeah, I think
Gumshoe's a
that
great fucking game.
I I think that I think Wild Gunman is
Well, yeah, that's
cool.
a classic. Hogan's Alley's a classic.
Yeah.
But Gumshoe, just the fact that you have to shoot him to make him jump as he's
Oh yeah.
going through the area, running through, and then you have to shoot the other
Yeah.
shit that's around him. There's no other
Yeah.
game that was like that.
No. Well there's Baby Boomer. You do kind of something like that,
Oh,
but
really?
it's an unlicensed game.
Oh,
So
okay.
you shoot items around Baby Boomer to keep him from getting hurt or make him continue walking across. It's like a gumshoe, but instead of shooting the baby, you're shooting the items around it.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
But oh gosh, but oh gosh, NES is definitely my favorite. Like I always wanted to try to get the whole collection, but I'm also trying to whittle down on the box. Like I got quite a bit of the box for the NES game, so I
Mm.
think I got like a quarter of the collection in the box,
Oh, nice.
and the rest of them loose. But
That my same friend that I said, and this is not worth anything because it's just he has his original notebook from the 80s with all the codes he has written in there. Ring King codes, fucking Kid
oh
Icarus
god,
codes. They're all written in like Kid Icarus, he beat like 11, 12 times in a row. And he's got every code. Like he could fucking pull up, oh, this is the seventh. Not that I don't even think there's a difference when you play it over and over again. This is the seventh run through of Kid Icarus if you put this code in. Like
I couldn't even get past the first level on Kid
Kid
Icarus.
Icarus is a tricky game.
It's hard, and
And
I
that
don't
first
even.
level is long.
Yeah, not only that, there's like no, I don't even think it was there. No, I don't even think there was checkpoints in those levels. I
Not
think
in their
if you
levels, no.
I think you fuck up, you start from the beginning.
Right. And that piece of shit fucking Grim Reaper scumbag.
Yeah, and I'll be using save states. Like I have this.
Oh yeah, that changes. Yeah, that's you like, but that wasn't a luxury we had.
No,
You had to
see,
play it
I.
over and over and
Oh
over and
yeah,
over again.
like recently I played Battletoads for both the NES and the Sega Genesis.
Mm,
And just for me to get past the turbo tunnel, I couldn't get past it on the NES version on the
mm.
Genesis. I had to use save states because I would get
Yeah.
past a section, then I was like, all right, save it, and then like like keep in trial and repeat. And I used a system called the Retro Freak. And
Mm.
you ever heard of the Hyperkin Retron 5?
No, I don't think so.
What this is it's a clone system that has multiple cartridge slots for NES, for say Genesis, for Super Nintendo, and the Famicom, and
Right.
it'll play Game Boy games. Well, I use a system called the Retro Freak. It does all that plus the TurboGrafx games.
Okay.
So you're still actually using the carts. You're still actually using. You could use the real controllers, but you have the luxury of save states. So,
Okay.
like when I'm playing games like Battletoads, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna use save states. Like I get called out for it. Like I don't care.
Yeah,
I
who
want to
cares?
get
No, you don't have the time in your life to, as a kid, what else did you have to do but do that? Is play vi
exactly.
you know what I mean? You don't have the time in your life. That's why I don't give a shit. Yeah, fuck that. I don't care. I don't give a shit. If I have the luxury, like a lot of these, I got the Marvel versus Capcom collection. I use save
Yeah.
states. I don't give a fuck. I don't give
Well,
a
at
shit.
least they.
I'm trying not
At
to get
least.
aggravated anymore in my life. You know what I mean? Like, I want less aggravation in my life. I don't wanna who am I proving myself to? I don't give a shit, you know?
Like if I'm gonna try to really beat the game, then yeah, I'll try it without it. But if I'm just trying to experience the game, like I didn't even know there's certain part of the Battletoads. I didn't know why it was after the turbo tunnel without looking it up because out there he's surfing, and then
Right,
after that he's riding snakes up and down this wall to get into the exit hole.
right.
And like when it was to the point like it's crazy. Like it's like even using save states is almost impossible. Like the
Yeah, oh,
game,
yeah.
I'm like it's crazy hard.
Well,
And
to this day, like, I know Battletoads is considered maybe the hardest game, and depending on who you ask, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
yeah.
um, uh, the one looking back that I can't believe I had the patience to really play through and beat it was, the original Ninja Gaiden.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was fucking hard. But now look but it was hard because, if you go back now and you know what weapons to use at what points, it's not even that
Yeah.
really that hard. It's the figuring out of that shit. You know what I mean? Um, but goddamn, that game was tough.
Well, back then, like honestly, if you knew the way how to get past, like some games you can beat like Mario Bros in less than 20 minutes if you know how to do it
Yeah,
real
well, yeah,
good.
if you warps and shit like that,
Yeah,
well, and then there's the speedrunners that do it in fucking
probably
like
five.
yeah, 5 minutes. It's ridiculous. Um, I just thought of this the other day. And I never really learned why. Why in Super Mario Brothers, sometimes when you finish a stage, what makes the fireworks go off?
What it is it's the timer. If it lands on a one, you get one fire.
Oh, is
Or
that what it is?
yeah, and if you hit three, it's three, and I think it's five, it's five, and after that,
Never
it
knew that until just now.
that was it. And anything else, if it's two, you don't get two. It's like
So it's odd numbers then.
yeah, it's odd numbers to five,
Up
I
to five,
believe.
1, 3, and 5.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like some of the cool things, and then I like learning. Like I'll do what's called the minus world glitch.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, and I like to find the variants, like because I have so many versions of Mario Bros.
Right.
That and they're not all the same. Some of them are usually the same, but like if you're playing it on the Famicom disc system, it's different, and
Yeah.
like it's
Well, a
like
lot of the games were easier in Japan.
it, actually no,
Like Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan's harder because it's really just Super Mario Brothers, but a different version. It's not the
um,
it's not the Doki Doki Panic Super Mario Brothers 2
no,
that the Americans got. But
no.
games like what was the game? Oh, what was I watching the other day? I was watching a playthrough of Fuck, I forget what it was. Oh, I know. I'll give you a game that's easier. Um, Japanese versus American is Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse
At
is
least,
easier. I'll give you a reason why it's easier. When you unlock Grant Dynasty in the Japanese version,
mm,
his default weapon is throwing knives.
oh
Where
yeah,
whereas in the American version, he just stabs people he's not throwing the knife, he's just stabbing people with a knife.
um,
But do you know the reason why that is?
why?
Because in Japan, they didn't have game rentals,
That's
right?
right.
The Americans did have game rentals. So the Japanese like, hey, I don't want Americans to just rent a game and beat it in a fucking day or two and not have to buy it. So we know
Yeah.
we need to make it harder so they can't just fucking rent it overnight and beat it overnight. We want to make it harder so they have to buy the game and
Mm.
fucking play it. That was another game, Castlevania Dracula's Curse. When I beat that fucking game, that moment was fucking big. I was like, holy shit.
See,
And I did it with just Trevor. I didn't even change through characters.
well, I like 1 and 3, and certain like I have Symphony of the Night. That's a good
That's
game.
one of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah, that's great. But like God, I have a reproduction of Dracula X, and that
That's it.
thing,
Another hard fucking game.
yeah, no shit. Like I was gonna do a gameplay of it, and like a lot of times I'll record the gameplay first, and then my introduction, like I give a little spiel about like maybe how I got it or something like that. Like this is Castlevania Dracula X, and then I'll show like price charting going for this, and then give my little history. Then I go into the gameplay, but I would do that after I already did the gameplay. And if I get stuck, I'm like, well, I guess I gotta move on because I'm not gonna want to show an episode just me playing the same level over and over and
I mean,
over.
that was Castlevania. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the first Castlevania is a hard game.
yeah,
However, it's only hard because you don't know that besides the first boss, the fucking holy water is. First of all, I didn't know until I was older that the multiple like the number 2 symbol and number 3 symbol, which made you be able to throw 2 or 3 weapons at the same time, that it wasn't a random drop. That it was you had to use your sub weapon a certain amount of times to kill enemies or use it against candles that it would pop up. So let's say you
really,
kill, yeah. So like, let's say I don't know what the number is, but let's say you'd have to kill 10 enemies with your sub weapon, and then the number 2 would show up. And then if you kill 10 more with your sub weapon, that's when the number 3 would show up. But if you had a number 3 and the holy water from
yeah,
second boss throughout, you just destroyed everybody.
no shit,
Yeah, I mean, Medusa's a joke. Medusa's a joke without a sub weapon, but the fucking mummies are a joke with the fucking holy water. Um, I remember the first speed bump as a kid was Frankenstein and Igor in the 4th stage. You have the holy water, it's a joke, right? And then the iconic, really the hardest fight when you first meet him is the Grim Reaper, which is stage
mm,
5. You have the holy water and you can time him is a joke. It's just memorization of like stage 5 of Castlevania. The holy water only shows up in the very beginning. It doesn't even show up in the rest of the stage. So you have to hold that motherfucker. Like you can't because Castlevania does have like checkpoints. So if you have to get the holy water, if you don't have the holy water, if you have to get it in the beginning of the stage
yeah,
and get through the whole fuck stage, and then get to and that last section when it's Medusa heads and the axe armors is a motherfucker. But if you have the holy water,
Mm.
you just blow right through it. So you don't know that as a kid. You're just trying to like fucking bang your head against the fucking wall and just get through it. Like I was thinking yesterday, the first time I beat Street Fighter 2 in the arcade was with Zangief, which is bizarre because that's not like a guy, but it wasn't that I fought through the whole game with Zangief. It was that I was just trying to make anything stick to the fucking wall. So I got to the
Yeah.
M Bison stage, and maybe I got to the M Bison stage using a bunch of different characters, but I was testing out what worked best, and for some reason, I beat him with Zangief the first time, or Zangief, whatever the fuck you want to pronounce his name. Um, but you just try, as a kid, you're trying to throw things against the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Before we move on,
Yeah.
I was doing. I got these. I guess prototypes or unreleased copies for the Jaguar. It's called the Realm Fighters. It's a bad knockoff of Mortal Kombat, but
Oh, I think
it
I know what you're talking about.
it had I have the alpha and beta build of it in the cart, and then there's this maze game that I got too. I think it was called. I think it could be high voltage S maze,
Mm,
but like it's crazy because it's you can tell it's a build and it's nowhere near production ready. So
right.
it's but when you see some of the characters, like oh my god, this is a rip off of Mortal Kombat. There's
Yeah,
a
because it's
dude,
digitized characters and shit.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there's a dude that looks like a Johnny Cage, but he has a hybrid of Johnny Cage and Raiden because he looks like Johnny Cage, but he has lightning powers. I'm like,
Wasn't that game in like the commercial for Jaguar?
I don't know.
I believe the commercial for Jaguar, they one of the commercials, obviously. There wasn't just one commercial, but they showed that game. Or it might be a different fighting game. I could be wrong. But I never really played Jaguar.
It's not. It was obviously not known that much, and actually, I have a Jaguar with a bunch of games in their boxes, but my opinion, it's not a bad system at all. I think it gets hate. Like I think it has the best version of to until the more modern day version of Doom.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
And not only that, Wolfenstein 3D is awesome on it. And
Hmm.
the controllers get doggone. And I don't think the controller's that bad at all. It just has that stupid number pad because they thought it was a brilliant idea to bring that number pad back.
Right. I have, yeah, that's like the ColecoVision controller, or the
Yeah,
Intellivision controller is like that too.
yeah, where you to have the overlays.
Right.
Like you worked with Doom, you press one and then you switch through the weapons. I'm like, whatever. But
Yeah, you show somebody one of those ColecoVision controllers, like, yeah, what is this, a fucking cell phone? Like, what the fuck is this thing?
oh, especially the television too, when you
Right,
had
yeah.
the disc.
Right.
And like, where's the joystick or where's the D pad on this thing?
Right.
And you see this disc and the phone number. You got a phone pad deal. And then you got
Yeah.
side buttons.
Right. Yeah, ColecoVision was just like that too. The
Yeah,
buttons were like on the side. You had to like squeeze.
yeah. And it was weird, but I'm
I think I
like,
have one right here. Hold on a second. I think it's right here. Hold on. You ready? Here we go.
yeah,
If you never saw one of these fucking things.
get a load of it. That's right.
So look, this is the joystick,
And it's pretty
right?
stiff too.
And these are the fucking buttons. Because it was like Atari. It had one button, and here's
Yeah,
that number pad bullshit,
yeah,
right? And then you'd feed an overlay through the bottom, and certain games, the numbers would be like, oh, this is shoot, and this is that, and this is that. There weren't many. games that had that overlay. It wasn't
Yeah,
every, but
but
yeah, this is a ColecoVision controller. This is what the fuck we played with.
see, what's funny is that with the Coleco, they have nowadays if they would do this for it would be a lawsuit between consoles, but Coleco used parts that were available that Atari couldn't copyright. That like Atari used parts that they had off the shelf to make
Right.
their 2600. So when Coleco made a add-on that went into expansion port, where you could actually play 2600 games on there.
I have the expansion port right here.
Yeah, like and
So
maybe
what, that wasn't sanctioned by Atari?
no, definitely not. You
Oh, I didn't even know that.
no Atari. I think tried to sue them, but they couldn't. They couldn't do anything about it because all the parts they used was off the shelf.
Right, it wasn't like their own proprietary shit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of like it's not like it's kind of like how they couldn't really sue Activision because Activision was using the carts and the boards and like well, I mean it was different like when nowadays you can't make a disc for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and able to stamp a
Play on
disc.
both of them.
Yeah, or even
Yeah.
play on both of them. They have it to the point where obviously there's a check thing on there where like, oh, this is a legit game, or like, yeah, there's no way where I'm gonna play this PS5 game on my Xbox Series X. I hate that fucking name, and I hate
Xbox
how
always had terrible names.
yeah,
They always had terrible fucking stupid names. Like the Xbox 360, and Xbox 360 was great.
yeah,
In my opinion, well, let me think about this for a second. Yeah, it's probably the best Xbox, the 360. You know, the
it's
and number 2 is the original.
I agree, and actually, it's the ones that well, I believe 360 sold the most, and then I
Yeah.
would say probably right behind that Xbox One.
What, the one
But
after that, you mean? See, it's so
yeah,
stupid that they called it Xbox One because
yeah,
you would think that
that's
the
the
original
original.
one would be considered that.
Yeah.
It's just
Oh,
it's so they just it's like name it something that you could like the Xbox Series X,
yeah,
especially when you called the upgraded version of the last one the Xbox One X.
yeah.
What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
And what's next? Be- Like,
The
like they
Xbox Series 360.
there you go.
Yeah.
And then after that, gotta put X on behind that because they can't say Pro because that's PlayStation's word.
It's and then people like are joshing for Xbox games to come to PlayStation, right? Like Halo and shit like that, and vice versa, right? They want to have
Yeah,
this place, but which sounds good, but you shouldn't do that because you're gonna you get great product out of competition,
exactly.
right?
Yeah,
When WWF bought WCW, that's how the product started fucking deteriorating because now there really
exactly.
wasn't any competition. So what's the point of putting out good shit? You know what I mean? What's the
Exactly.
point of trying to be at the cutting edge of shit? Keep
And
like I heard Disney, the rumor was Disney was gonna buy Nintendo. That would be a disaster. That would be a fucking disaster. They would ruin that shit. I'm telling you, they would fuck it up.
I don't know,
Let Nintendo be Nintendo.
oh,
Let the
definitely. I think I mean Disney. I thought does great with Marvel. Yeah,
no, but Disney would give Mario a pussy.
oh,
That's what they would do. They would give Mario pussy. Princess Peach would have a dick. I'm telling you, like they
and
would
a,
get stupid.
and maybe a beard for Princess Peach too.
Yeah, they. I'm telling you, they wouldn't. They have to get their fingers in it. Let
And
them
then
do what they do.
would they have to have stupid pronouns?
Of course, of course.
We never grew up. It's like, hey, what's your fucking pronoun? What's your pronoun? If someone ever asked me that, I'm just like, my pronoun, I'm Batman.
I'd be like, what does it matter? Because you're not going to use it when I'm in the room anyway. So what does it matter? If I'm in the room, you're not going to call me he or she.
Yeah,
You're
or
going to call me by
simple
my
day.
fucking name. So what do I give a shit? What word you use when I'm not there? Am I that fucking important? Do I'm that self-important that I worry about what you referred to me as when I'm not there?
I,
Jesus Christ.
I love when I was with Drew on Derailed and we are first talking about this and the whole dim and day thing. I'm like, hold on, someone becomes more than one person nowadays.
Yeah,
They're
you're just crazy. That person, I just call you crazy.
I can understand if you're one of these Siamese twin people where,
Right, yeah, which is rare.
yeah, like there that one girl that has the two heads. Okay,
Yeah,
I think they have an option to say dim or day
right.
because they're literally two people on the same
But
body.
I would assume even they don't give a shit.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
but like I'm hearing, I don't know if it's true, but I'm hearing like doctor's office is starting to ask that or something nowadays. So if one day they do that, I'm gonna resort to either tell them to call me Batman or call me It.
Well, that's because of lawyers and shit, and they're worried about lawsuits, and that's why they do that shit. You know, and then in doctors, they're not just single entities anymore. They're part of
Yeah.
like big medical
Oh yeah.
conglomerates, and whoever the lawyers of that medical conglomerate, you know, oh, we don't want to get sued but using different person's pronoun. Meanwhile, why don't you just say, hey, listen, go fuck yourself? You know what I mean? Like, you don't just shut.
I,
No, you're not allowed to sue for that. Shut up.
I'm gonna be like if my doctor don't come in and call me Mr. Batman or Mr. It. I'll be super offended. Then I'll have my lawyer on call. Like, you
It's
better
yeah.
call me that.
It's so stupid. It really is just dumb. So
It,
Casey, what did you? So Casey, what is this? You said you wanted to show me something.
yeah. All right. So, all right. Let's cut away from this whole thing. We got derailed huge, but
Yeah, you're making me miss the Giants lose again.
well, believe me, I'm not. I'm in the same boat. I'm not in no hurry to watch the Cowboys lose again.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah. So
obviously, we're going to be talking about the Atari 2600. So I got. This is not. This is actually the Atari 2600 Plus that's out. This
oh, so that's not an original.
No, this one comes out and puts out in HD.
Oh, okay.
But what's cool about this is that it's actually forward compatible to the 7800.
All right. So it can play 7,800 games too.
Yeah.
What
And
about
they
5,200? No.
no, I think they should at least have some plug-in. Like if you're able to forward compatible to play 7800, I think you should be able to have an adapter even though the cartridges are huge have an adapter there so you can play 5200 games.
Right.
But this came out from Atari. Uh, they do nowadays come out with a patch. It's not perfect. There's certain games can't play on it, but they actually just released what was called the Atari 7800 Plus.
Yeah, I
It
saw
does,
that.
and it's the same thing.
They're
Just
just reason to make money.
yeah, but hey, you know what? Atari actually, I think, did a smarter thing because like I said, and like they use the same cartridge for the 7800. So this other system on the show is from Hyperkin. It's
Okay.
called the Retron 77.
Okay.
So this came out like God, maybe 5 years ago or plus. But here's the thing: you think they should do 7800 too,
Right.
but no, they don't. Like I think it's stupid because how hard is it to program something to play 7800 games? Like you already got the form factor right there. Just uh able to put a freaking patch, but I don't think it physically could take it with this because it just has that one piece in the board right there. I
Right.
think 7800 takes three pieces of the board,
Oh, okay.
but I think there's a fail for the Hyperkin not doing that.
Right.
But um here's the one thing I want to show is very retro. Uh, you ever heard of the Game Brain?
I think I might have.
So this is what's called the Game Brain.
Okay.
So you plug this motherfucker into the
Right.
Atari 2600.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's a games selector. Like you can put up to
So wait.
six.
So what is that, like a CD changer for Atari games almost?
Exactly,
What the
and,
fuck?
and then for reason the two ends just holds two cartridges that yeah does nothing, but you can just press a button and it's like all right I want to play this game. You hit that button, it's
Oh my god.
just like that. You play that game, and it actually works on the Atari 2600. I
So it's 6 games.
Yeah, 6 games, and by the way, it also has a wood trimming, so
Mm.
gotta have wood trimming on it, and they have wood trimming on the cart.
I'm trying to think if I were to pick 6 games to have to put in there and just be that.
Yeah,
Uh, I think I would go Combat, right? I would go Yard's Revenge.
yes.
I would go, I'm trying to think of games that are really good, like, multiplayer, or Missile Command would have to be in that. Um, hmm.
Is Missile Command more of a paddle controller, or no?
No,
No,
yeah,
yeah,
you're right. It is.
no. The reason is you gotta go up.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, so Paddle would be Breakout
yeah, pretty
or Kaboom.
kaboom. Yeah.
Kaboom is a classic. Shit. Like games that Pong. And that's a paddle game
Yeah,
though.
yeah. I mean, I would say that's okay. Like, how hard is it switching out to a paddle control?
Right. Wow, multiplayer games. Uh, Interesting. Um, I can't really think of right now. I can't think of any more fun. I mean, Combat you could play for. I mean, there's just so many different versions in that game of tanks and the planes and
Yeah,
um that you only really need Combat. But
I,
you know what's another great game? Stampede.
I have it, but I never played that.
Stampede was one of the first games I played. The first game I ever played on Atari was Donkey Kong, and that's actually not really a good version of Donkey Kong, but
It's still playable
no,
though.
it's playable. Um, Stampede's a great game. Listen, the best games, technically the best games overall were Activision games, right?
Exactly.
Pitfall 2, The Lost Caverns, River Raid is fucking fantastic.
Yes.
Uh, um,
My mom loved
that's when
River Raid.
Activision was not the fucking pieces of shit they are now with the
Oh
Call of
no.
Duties and whatever. But
They weren't evil yet.
Right. I'm trying so Activision. Oh, you know what's another great Activision game? Do you remember Frostbite?
I have that, but I don't think I ever played that.
Frostbite's a great fucking game. Keystone Capers.
Yes, that's a good
Yeah.
game.
Um, is it Activision? It's kinda like Frogger, but not really. Do you remember Freeway?
Yes, I heard
When you were a
freeways.
chicken?
Yeah, you just crossing the road.
Right.
Oh
It's not a great game, but I'm just
no,
trying to remember Activision games. Um,
Frogger. You can't go wrong with Frogger either.
oh, what was that fucking game? I think it's called Warlords.
Oh, I have it.
That's
I never
another
played.
great multiplayer game.
I think anything came from Coleco. Even the you had Mario Bros for
Right,
in
right, right. You're right. They did have the original Mario Brothers. That's right.
yeah, and Donkey Kong Jr. Even though
Donkey Kong Jr.
I prefer Donkey Kong. It's the original, but
Yeah,
oh
over
my
Junior. Yeah,
yeah.
or that. How
Oh,
about the bizarre Donkey Kong 3?
where you where you shoot fumes up
Yeah,
Donkey Kong's
yeah. You
ass.
shoot fucking insecticide up his asshole. I think it might even be called DDT. I know
DDT.
DDT was definitely in Centipede and Millipede.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, it said DDT on the fucking thing that you shot. Um, but I'm
And
not sure if that's
that's
when
when
DD.
Jake the Snake started naming the
Right,
DDT.
right.
Oh
Yeah, I mean,
man.
some people don't even know what that is. Like, that's a was a chemical they used to fucking kill everything.
Yeah,
Um, and it was very, 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 very toxic.
I'm sure people think, oh, it's got to be should be a technical wrestling move name. Like, no, and he did that by accident, and uh, I think it was also a rat killer, wasn't
Yeah, well, think about how toxic something has to be when Americans fucking ban it. You know what I mean?
it? Especially back in the '80s or even
Right.
'70s. That we s- lead paint was still a thing, and we didn't
Yeah,
have to. Lead paint was on cups, and we still
that's
drink
right.
out.
Yep.
So nowadays, oh, we gotta test this paint on this glassware. Oh, it has like 0.0001 of lead. Oh, we gotta recall it.
Right, it's ridiculous.
But no, oh gosh. But no, yeah, I would say definitely Frogger and even the Pac-Man games. Like, even though the original one sucks, you got Miss Pac-Man, that was good.
How about
It
Berserk?
Berserk, yeah, Berserk's good.
Berserk, uh, fucking, hold
Pole
on a second.
position.
No, Paul, no, but I'm thinking of, a Defender.
Yeah,
It's
Defender, good.
Defender's good. Um, hold on, let me Space Invaders is a classic.
Yeah.
Um, did they have Galaga?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think
Dig
that
Dug?
or
Forgot
class.
about Dig Dug.
Yeah, Dig Dug.
They did not
Uh,
have Zookeeper. I know that for a fact. And I don't think
I'm
they had elevator action. Um,
I know they did for Elevator Action. I think that might have been. I know that was on the NES. That could have been on
what
7800.
about Robotron?
Uh, I played the arcade version, but on 2600.
Yeah, I don't think 2600 has it.
I'm I thinking I got quite a bit of loose Atari games right there. I can see, but I have a ton of them in their boxes too. But like, I remember, God, one of the ones like nowadays, like there's even this new system that just came out a couple years ago, and actually Walmart was promoting this in their for Black Friday. Oh, I'm sorry, Dark Friday. Got gotta make sure we're not offending
Is
anyone.
that really? Did they really say that now? Dark Friday?
No, that's why it just came up.
Oh, all right. I was God damn it, man. I mean, it would make sense because they're just so stupid.
Or we just I was thinking what's they're gonna have to change eventually. Like I
I like to
guarantee
call it
we
African American Friday, my opinion.
I'm thinking anything color we gotta change it eventually. We can't call it the White House sooner or later. You know they'll have to call it like eggshell White
Oh my
House.
god. So
But
stupid.
they recently released well, a couple years ago they released a system called the Retro Video Game System that actually did a video of it and
Mhm.
gameplay. The system itself is good because it plays Atari 2600,
Mhm.
5200,
Mm.
and 7800, and there's
Okay.
very little 5200 games, and it even plays arcade games. I'm talking about real old school arcade games from Atari, where it's the black and white arcade games, like
Oh.
playing baseball and football.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it has that on there. And also for they have bonus games where it was not the game's not even on a Atari console. It'd be like on the NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, or even Game Boy. But it's Atari games.
Okay.
And one of the funnier ones they have, I didn't maybe it's because Atari the new modern Atari uh cl- got the copyright, but you ever remember about the those Art 3D for the Super Nintendo that
No.
they so this thing is a ripoff of Wolfenstein 3D for
Really?
yeah, for the Super Nintendo, but it came out with a very small cartridge. But you had to have a real Super Nintendo plugged into it to override the lockout chip.
Oh, okay.
And this was the only unlicensed game for Super Nintendo because they cracked down a lot of it. And this is before anyone thought about using uh, a different official card to override the lockout chip. But they took Wolfenstein 3D instead of you playing as the character, you're playing as I guess Noah, and instead of trying to recover animals for your arc, you're shooting invisible with your slingshot instead of a gun. You're shooting with a slingshot and
It's
a invisible piece of food at your animals and knocking them out.
what the hell?
Yeah, and they would these animals would hurt you from afar too. Like they would kick you, even though you're. It's where like usually the enemies would shoot you from afar, so
Right.
it's stupid. But that's a horrible version of Wolfenstein 3D.
Wow. I didn't even know. But yeah, I never even knew about that shit.
Yeah, it's on the system, but like I said, this system right here, um, is good. Don't bother using those fucking joystick controllers unless you have uh want to play with nostalgic meanings. It comes with it comes with three action buttons. You have one for like the old school button in the corner. You have a trigger button, and you got a button on top of the joystick. And if you look on the let our left side of the screen on the controller, that's a for the paddle controls.
Okay.
It's horrible. I said,
So that's you can only use the paddle controls like on the actual unit.
yeah, that. No, on the joysticks.
Oh! I see what you mean on the corner right there.
Yeah,
Oh,
on the
okay.
left side on the corner of the joystick. But the I if someone buys this, I highly suggest use a modern day controller. Just I'd say use an Xbox Series X controller and hook it. You have to use a USB-C cord to plug it into it,
Right.
and it's way more playable. With this
Oh,
fucking
okay.
joystick, it's unplayable.
Oh, okay.
So, like, they sell this thing, I think, for like $70 now at Walmart. It's loaded with a bunch of cool stuff. Like I said, old school Atari games,
Right.
old school arcade games. I mean, and it's cool because there's this one game on on arcade from Atari. It's called Dominoes,
Mhm.
and you're playing. And I'm not talking like, oh, you put this domino down and you're playing against them. You're you're playing as a stack dominoes. So this is the early version of Snake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Snake for the
Yeah,
cell
yeah.
phones. This is the early version of that. So you're playing against a computer where you're trying to obviously not touch the sides of the screen. You're obviously not trying to turn back and cause the collapse of your dominoes or running into the other player. My tactic is a lot of times I'll go around the computer and trap him, forcing him into where he just zigzags until he's trapped.
Right.
But I never heard dominoes until I played that game. It's like, hey, that's actually not bad.
Isn't the
But
game on Intellivision Snafu like that?
yes,
And
yes,
it's a lot
exactly.
like the light cycle stage in Tron.
I never played that.
You never played Tron?
Well, not uh, n- no, not on. I think very shortly, and they have several versions of Tron on in television.
Well, but I'm talking about Arcade Tron.
Oh, didn't know.
Oh, okay, because Arcade Tron, there was different stages. One of them was the light cycles,
Yeah,
and they would draw a line behind it, and you'd have to go head to head and, like you said, trap somebody within the line.
yeah,
So, yeah, Snafu was like that.
yeah. Snafu's a good game. Like I tell people when I was playing that, it's like this is the early version of Snake, and
Right.
then and nowadays you have these young kids. They don't even know what the hell Snake is nowadays.
But, Snake, because I haven't played it in a long time, didn't you have, like, a tail that would trail behind you?
Yeah, and you would have to find a dot that I guess
Right.
is food that makes your snake grow
Right,
into
exactly.
into
But there was
where
an end to your snake.
yeah, there's an
But
end
as
of you.
Snafu did not have an end. It was you were just drawing a line, like a permanent line.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's right.
There is another arcade game, I'd have to look up what the name of it is, that is pretty much Snake. Um, and I can't remember if let me see if I can arcade Snake game. Let's see. But Google, what are you, a moron? Oh, here you go. Nibbler. Look up Nibbler.
All
That
right.
is Snake. But Nibbler also has, like, mazes involved.
That's cool. That's
So
kind of
think of, like, kind of going through almost like a Pac-Man maze as a snake.
that's crazy.
Yeah, Nibbler, Nibbler.
Uh, there's another game. Actually, when I was playing that retro Atari retro system
Mm,
deal, one game really blew me out of water was, but it was an arcade game. It was it blew me out because it was the 80s Atari arcade game, but
mhm,
it was obviously had the power like 32 bits because it had polygons and stuff everywhere.
mhm.
It was called iRobot.
Oh, yeah, I know
And,
what game you're talking about.
and I was thinking about it. Hold on, you got the iRobot movie with Will Smith. So like is this just a coincidence? Like like
You know
what?
what's kinda in that vein? I don't think it's Atari, though. Let me see. Did you ever play Major Havoc?
No.
Let me see if that's Atari. But Major Havoc was, Um, it was a vector game, like vector graphics,
Oh.
but 3D
Oh.
vector graphics.
Oh. Like,
Ma
hold on,
yes, Major Havoc was Atari.
was it on the Vectrex?
That I don't know.
Oh.
But Major Havoc is a very it's an interesting game. I don't know how to explain it. There's many different modes in it, right? There's, like, flying around and shooting mode. There's
Yeah.
you have to land your spaceship, and then when you land your spaceship, now it's like a side scroller running where you have to go through a maze and get I forget exactly what you have to get in the maze and then shoot other things trying to shoot you, grab something and bring it back to your ship. Look, if you ever get a chance, look up Major Havoc Arcade.
Okay.
Like, cause they would I'm telling you, like, that fucking time, they were taking wild swings and wild chances at shit. They were
Oh,
just
yeah.
doing weird shit,
Well,
and that's what made it so fun.
what's funny is that, uh, you would have games that were later on be renamed for different systems, like, you had Star Fox for the Atari, and then, obviously, you had Star Fox
Right,
for the Super Nintendo and beyond. I'm like obviously, there's it's just a coincidence,
right,
like, but I'm like, at the time, Atari would make anything it's real easy for them to make games or in space because I mean, all you need is a black background with a couple
right.
dots in space.
But certain games, certain arcades did a little extra, like
Yeah,
Space Invaders. They had that mirrored effect that looked like
yeah,
the aliens and was above, like, on top of a planet
yeah.
floating in space. So, they people did certain shit to differentiate themselves. Didn't Wasn't there a game called Star Castle that was like a
I,
bizarre effect to it too?
I don't know.
They did a lot, dude. They did a lot of wild shit
I
back
know,
then.
I know we talked about we were talking about last time where about arcades, and I brought up about that arcade machine from Sega that was using holograms, or it was
Yeah, the
using
Time Traveler.
time traveler.
Right.
We were talked about that. I thought that was innovative of its time.
There was actually another game that they used. It wasn't Time Traveler, but it was a hologram game. And it was Sega too, I think. Sega hologram. This is it right here. It's called Holosseum, like
Oh,
Coliseum, but
oh,
Holosseum. And it was a fighting game.
no shit.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was any good. Like,
Yeah, I don't think it was, but that was the other one. There was yeah, because I knew there was a second one. I never really got to play Holosseum,
I
like in but I knew it existed. That's right around the time that I remember this. That was right around the time when Michael Jackson's Moonwalker came out in the arcades.
oh gosh, that's good, and it's crazy that like the arcade game, and the Sega Genesis versions is like completely different.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, because the Sega Genesis version is a side scroller.
Yeah, and like, but you still had the option where Michael Jackson decides to save kids. But
Right.
you think about it, is he still the villain though?
No,
Like
what's cool about the Sega Genesis version is there's like a cemetery stage.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Which is like Thriller, but that
yeah.
does not exist in the arcade. I Hold on a second. There's a chance that the Sega Genesis version came first. Let me see that. Let's see this.
I'm gonna,
Sega Genesis, Moonwalker.
I'm gonna bet it's the art. I'll bet money it's the
I
arcade came
This
out.
is all right. So I remember seeing Moonwalker on the Genesis before the arcade version. It doesn't mean it came out first.
Yeah.
Okay. Is the name of several based on the okay. Sega developed two beat 'em ups. released in 1990. Um, one release in arcades, another release for Sega Genesis and Master System. US Gold. When US Gold's involved, the game sucks.
Yeah.
Let me see. Sega arcade version. Okay, release date July 20th, 1990. Okay, so now go back. Whole console versions. Sega Genesis. No, it was close, but the Genesis version came out a month later, August 25th. So it was pretty
So it was,
close.
yeah, it's pretty close.
So they
So
were
they
pretty
had,
much working on them at the same time.
oh yeah. So I mean, here's one thing: anytime I do anything with Moonwalker, oh my god, I would get spanked in copyright
Oh,
because
really?
yeah, it doesn't matter if, let's say, I'm even playing, I'll be using the Master System music.
Oh my
You're like,
god.
you're playing 8-bit version of, like, uh wherever, uh whatever Michael Jackson games are in there, songs are in there, but they'll hit you. Like, I'm using the 8-bit version. Like, I can at least understand maybe the 16-bit
They
or
did it to me the other day when I was playing Grand Theft Auto and I had the radio music on.
yeah.
It's like it's okay. It's like, all right, you want the money? Take the fucking stupid money of the 10 views I'm gonna get. You fucking jerk offs. You know what I mean? It's so stupid.
Oh yeah, like I'm playing on the for it's just bullshit when you're playing on, especially modern day, when you're streaming and there are no people gonna stream this shit.
Nintendo's the worst with that shit. They are the worst. When they go
They
after people and shit.
I would say they used to be the worst.
Oh, what? They changed now?
You know, I think the Switch was their hard divide, because I think they finally learned that, hey, it's probably a good idea to not be assholes to these streamers, because hey, we're gonna make more money. But during the Wii U days and before, oh, they didn't want you play Nintendo stuff online. Like, and if you do, you have to be white knighted and shit like that just to get hit with copyright. And I don't think you had to worry about copyright strikes, but copyright claims.
Mm.
But it's to the point where nowadays, I mean, I'll play a ton of Nintendo stuff and I don't have to worry
Oh,
about it.
okay.
Maybe sometimes it'll be music, sure, or be some random music, but that's anything nowadays. So, and it seems like it's more nowadays the modern ones, because they'll use copyright music in their games. Like I said before, you'll be playing with a modern, like when you're playing on PS4 and PS5, they integrate streaming into the console.
Right.
So they know you're just going to stream this shit.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, if you play WWE 2K24 and you play The Rock's theme song, we got to hit you with copyright. Like, come on, man.
But you know what's funny? Like if you ever notice when you're streaming off the console, a lot of times it will block out certain shit. Right? It'll
Yeah.
block out like a what is it called? Like story
Oh,
elements.
really?
Yeah, it'll come up on your screen. It'll say
Oh, it
that
probably
it's
prevents
blocking this
spoiler.
because you don't want to spoil. It's like they get they're kind of like saving you from spoilers of the story.
Yeah,
And
I
then it'll
can
say when
understand
it
that.
comes back. But if you could do it with that, why can't you do it with a theme song or a fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, dude, like with Fortnite, you would buy like emoji, not emoji, an emote that has copyright music behind it. And Fortnite should have been smart enough, like, hey, people are going to stream it. Why at least let people use a clip of that without getting hit?
So stupid.
But it's just stupid. But at least they give you an option to anything copyright. It would just silence it. So they were smart enough to put that in, but it seems like I have more copyright issues with anything disc related. Cartridge, I can get away with more with the music, but this
Well, it's
makes
because
you
it's
hate.
probably because the audio quality on a disc is way better.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Super Nintendo's auto quality is pretty great though too
Yeah,
because the Sony chip,
right.
but it makes you kind of almost, especially modern day console, makes you hate it because back in Atari days, you just put the game in and you go. There's no patches. There's no loading screens. They'll maybe have an intro.
And
Eh,
very few times there's music.
Yeah, you're in the game.
E.T.
You're
had music.
yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark had music. I can't. Oh, you know what? Well,
Trying to think.
I mean, you can't. It's not really music, but technically, Pitfall. Well, Pitfall 2 definitely had music.
Yeah, Pitfall. Yes, it did.
Pitfall 1. Nah, I'm surprised they didn't go after Pitfall for when with the Tarzan
Yeah.
because they went after fucking.
Oh
Um,
my god, that
hold on a second. Tato. They went after Taito
for the
with
what is it?
Jungle Hunt.
Bam.
And then they had to
Because they
make. Oh
use
no, I'm sorry. It wasn't called Jungle Hunt. It was called Jungle King. That's what it was originally called. And then it changed to Jungle Hunt.
okay.
And then they even got fucked with again, and so they changed it to Pirate Pete.
What?
Yeah, Pirate Pete is the same game as Jungle King or Jungle Hunt now, but you now play as a pirate instead.
And I know it's because the Tarzan call.
Right. I mean, that's for real the Tarzan call though, because it's right in the beginning of the game. Like,
Yeah. So, but it's crazy. It's like, oh my gosh. I
all they
mean,
had to do was cut that out, and then
yeah.
so and that's it. Who cares? But
It's crazy, but I know we're getting late. I know it's about to hit 2 o'clock your time, and I
yeah,
know you're busy.
yeah,
Uh,
I gotta decorate the old Christmas tree.
but before we take off, do you do you honestly think E.T. the video game is truly the worst game of all time, or is that bullshit?
No, no. I mean, at least it had a an object to it, right?
Yeah, there's
Um,
what
there's way worse. I think there's way worse games than that.
there's way worse games on Atari 2600 than
Yeah,
that.
on this. Yeah, I mean, right now, I can't think of like, hey man, if you don't know what you do in a Raiders of the Lost Ark, you could look at that as a worse game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's a confusing game. Like you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
pretty much.
I never as a kid beat Raiders of the Lost Ark. I didn't know how to. I got kind of far, but never really
I've,
knew
I
what the fuck I was doing.
I think you really needed the instruction manual really to get through that.
But even if you did get the instruction manual, like the graphics are so archaic that you don't even know what the fuck is going on.
Oh yeah,
Like I remember like in the beginning you had to you went down to the next screen and you had to buy the grenade from the black market and then the
yeah,
grenade blew a hole in the wall and then you went through the hole in the wall and then you got I forget exactly what you got. I think you even oh, you also had to buy a gun from the black market in the beginning, but then you went through a hole in the wall and then I forget what
yeah,
you got through there. And then there was the part where you had to parachute across to the fucking
yeah,
it was a bizarre like it was a very weird. And then the whip, there was the other screen with a whip because it was like a dot. You had to whip
yeah.
yourself from part to part. It's a
It,
very if you listen to this and you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch a playthrough of Raiders of the Lost Ark on Atari, and you're like, dude, what is going on?
yeah, the whip wasn't even a freaking line; it was just a dot.
Yeah, it was a dot.
So, and it was like the gun and the whip is almost identical.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I think maybe the gun went a little further,
Yeah,
and I could, but I'm like, it's like the angry video game nerd. They probably point like, are you telling me you couldn't draw a straight line? like,
yeah.
it's not, like it's not that primitive that you couldn't like. they had more stuff that's it's more detail in that game than drawing a freaking line for a whip.
Right.
So I was like, but no, I thought ET was actually a good game. It was just hard to figure it out.
Well, you had to find the pieces of the fucking machine that he had to find for the people. I remember I beat the game as a kid.
Oh yeah, like I know it's beatable.
Yeah, no, it's beatable. You just got to find all the pieces of the machine and then get to the one spot, and the
Being
ship
back
comes and
home.
gets you. Yeah, that's it.
A-
Yeah. It just had a
It's
lot of
actually
hype around it. That's why.
yeah. Actually, I found out a worse ET game out there. There's a worse ET game for the Game Boy Advance. I saw the ET is like, oh, I gotta do gameplay of this, and I think I did a live stream of it. I was like, this is horrible. This is way worse
Oh
than
yeah,
the
I mean,
20.
yeah, sure. I'm sure this. I mean, the 2600 game at least worked, right?
Yeah,
How many games
this
don't
thing.
even work?
Well, the thing is, it was just stupid because you have ET it running around touching flowers, and then if he gets hit by a certain enemy from enemies, he's dying slowly, but he has no way to defend himself. So, and he easily gets hit. So, like, at least give me something so I can take on this enemies. But no, he just stands there and sticks out his fucking finger and does nothing.
I had no idea there was even another AT game.
Oh yeah, it
Wow.
it's horrible. It's
Well,
I
maybe that's
rather
why they made that game. You're like, you think this game sucks? Wait until we show you what we can do.
yeah exactly.
Yeah.
I was like I'm hoping both ways. It's like maybe this will be a good game, but I'm kind of like hoping it's gonna be actually worse. And I got the worst hope in there.
Here.
It's
Oh,
like,
before we bounce, because you remember
yeah,
you mentioned Atari and polygons.
yeah.
This is a little later than that, but one of my favorite Atari polygon games is Stun Runner.
Hmm.
Stun Runner is like you're in this vehicle
Yeah.
and you like race down this track, but you can go up on the walls and shit. Like it's almost like some parts of the stage, like you can do loops around the walls and you're shooting other enemies. Look up Stun Runner, and it's actually it is STUN, but when you see it, it says S period T period. It stands for something. It's like an
Uh.
acronym.
Yeah.
Um, Stun Runner. Look up Stun Runner. That's a fantastic fucking game.
I think that could be on the 2600. I think that looks.
No, no,
Well,
it can't be. It can't be because Stun Runner came out in the 90s, I believe. I could
it sounds so familiar. It really does. It sounds so familiar. That's right. It's like I'm looking over and I'm hoping to see something like it, but
it's 1989 it came out.
okay, so it's possible, but that's very, very, very late. That's on the very end of Atari
It
2600.
says it was in okay, home ports were released for the Atari ST, the Amiga, the Commodore 64, the Amstrad CPC, and the ZX Spectrum. An Atari
Uh,
Lynx version was published by so there's a Lynx version. Dude, I had my Atari Lynx. I found it and I don't even know where the fuck it went anymore. Like I don't even know what I did with it. Atari Lynx,
actually,
underrated fucking handheld.
I actually just came across one in the box for like $200.
Atari
I was
Lynx is
like,
fantastic.
I, I,
It has a great version of Ninja Gaiden on it. It has the it's the arcade version of Ninja Gaiden. It's not even like the NES one. It's the arcade one.
yeah,
Um,
that's totally different.
and another one of my favorite games back then, Rampart.
Hmm.
Rampart was a game where you had to build walls It was kind of Tetris-esque where the walls were like shaped like Tetris shapes almost, and you had
Yeah,
to build the rampart walls around your little area, and
yeah.
then put your cannons down. You would kind of look top down, and then
Mm.
it would go ready, aim, fire, and all these ships would come in on your shit, and you'd have to shoot the ships down, and then the ships would attack your rampart, and then between stages you'd have to rebuild your rampart and repair it. That's a great rampart. Great fucking game.
Wow. Like that's how it was cool. Like I still would like to get like a few of us together and even
Yeah.
get like a new school person and like I would like to do that, but it feels awkward to like get someone. Not obviously, I wouldn't choose anyone under age because that's you're just asking for trouble. But
Yeah.
someone close, then I feel like. But I'm like, I want to at least try to get someone in the early 20s. Like, okay, like talk about where you see gaming and how you feel about retro and stuff like that. Like, I feel like honestly, some of the retro stuff, we're the old guard, and honestly, some of the stuff we grew up. I mean, the ColecoVision and the
Mm.
television. Sooner or later, these kids ain't gonna care about that. I'm
No, they're
sure
not
the
gonna give a
kids
shit.
these kids ain't gonna care about 'em, like, they probably don't care about the Odyssey 2 or the Odysseys, or they think like I did probably when I was younger, I thought Atari 2600 is where it started until I started, uh, researching stuff,
Right. They
but
should care about Nintendo though, the NES at that
yes,
point and forward.
I don't even know if kids would. I mean, nowadays kids, would care about that. Like, I don't know where's the cutoff line for them, I like to keep going back and back until like you reach the beginning. I like finding, and I like the weirder it finds it. To me, it's more interesting.
Well, that's why, like, if I they should take those games and update them to just don't change anything. Just update the graphics to now,
Yeah,
right? Take the original Legend of Zelda, up the graphics to now.
yeah,
Take the original Metroid, upgrade the graphics to now. Those are great fucking games. Even Kid Icarus, upgrade it to now. Don't change anything about it. The game's fine by itself. Just upgrade it to the graphics now, like to what graphics would be like now. I don't think they do that. I don't think they make classic side scrolls enough updated to now graphics. Those still have value.
oh yeah. I mean, they kind of do that with the Switch Online deal, where they
Right.
bring them up to HD quality, but like the only way you can go further than that is making maybe a 16-bit revision of them. But or some people even take some of these games and make them in VR. Like they take Zelda Legend of Zelda 1 and put it in VR.
Well,
Like
I
that.
saw there was a somebody took the original Castlevania and
Mhm.
made it in the Doom engine.
Oh my
So it's a
god.
first person Castlevania 1.
That's actually a good idea.
I forget what it's called, but it's out there. If you look up Doom Castlevania, it's out there.
You know, there's a point where people figure out how to play Doom on everything. It's down
Yeah.
to where they actually could play Doom on a pregnancy test.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You seen that where
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah. It's
like
ridiculous.
yeah, it's like to the point like honestly people play it on like microwaves or something like that. Like it blows your mind where they figure like they'll play it on a McDonald's cash wrap. I'm like, but it's amazing how they take Doom. Like I know some people like there's a NES port, but you have to have a special board to do that. And it's obviously it's gonna look like shit too, because if you're gonna use the NES. It's gonna be an 8-bit. It's gonna look like
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah, that's not gonna work well.
No, but dude, that was awesome show, dude. I
Yeah, man.
appreciate. That was fun. I love to do this more often
Yeah,
with
man, I
you.
always have fun.
So I'm glad you came on. Like I said, I'm thinking about separating these two.
You're probably gonna have to.
But it was definitely a fun time. I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, for Filthy Mouth Gamer, I am Casey Israel. Thank you for coming on, and I'll talk to you guys later. See you guys.
Later.